Thank you.
Welcome to my world.
My goodness gracious me again! And he flies! You've got to be kidding me! This is incredible!
Wow.
Night 5 of the NBL Blitz here on the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. 2 big games in the can already. Cairns beat Southeast Melbourne in the Open, and that was a real ripper. Joel Peterson and Pete Hawley. 5 points it was. The Taipans were down by 8 in that second half. They came back to overrun the Phoenix, and it was a big performance. Bobby Clinton was great. Taron Armstrong was great. Tyler Cook, he continued his good form for the Phoenix, Pete.
Oh, I mean, Tyler Cook, we'd love to keep him in the NBL for the whole season. I don't think it's going to happen. But Taron Armstrong, if you haven't bought stock, buy stock already. This kid is going to be a star. And Bobby Clinton, well, he's the next star for a reason because we're going to have him for a year and then he's off to bigger and better things.
Game 2 was a showdown of the big blokes. Illawarra beat Brisbane, but it was Lockie Olbrich, Aaron Baines, 2 big fellas, one young, one maybe not so young, but doing their thing and doing it well.
I mean, great to see Bang. I mean, 20 and 20, if we see that all season, it's going to be great. But Lockie Olbrich, talk about buying stock. If you've got a super coach team, he is a lock. That kid is going to be in the NBA one day. He is a superstar.
We'll have more on Supercoach tonight as we go throughout. What we're here for tonight, what they're here for tonight, is Melbourne and Sydney, 2 powerhouses of the competition. Melbourne are undefeated, Sydney is zipping 1. Matthew Dellavedova's making a run at this MVP, and Sydney have still got a few things to work out, but they look pretty exciting again.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to be at full strength. We'll find that out. But Delhi, this is a Delhi we haven't seen for a long time, if at all, with the confidence he's playing with. Can't wait to see him continue that. And anytime Melbourne and Sydney play, there's a little bit extra to it.
Melbourne have got maybe the Loggins-Bruton Cup on the line as well. It's all coming your way. KO freebies, myself and Pete, we're going to bring you all of the action.
Stay up to date with all the latest direct from the NBL?
That is enormous!
Well, download the free NBL app now. It's jam-packed with live scores, stats, exclusive content, and much more. Get it from the App Store and Google Play now.
It is a heavyweight battle to round out night 5 on the Gold Coast in the NBL Blitz for season 2024. Melbourne United and the Sydney Kings doing battle tonight. Melbourne haven't lost in this NBL Blitz, yes. The Kings are 0-1, looking for their first win. Joel Peterson alongside Pete Hawley. Pete, we are primed for a big one tonight.
Anytime these 2 teams play each other, it's always going to be a little extra to it. I know it's the preseason, but we're 5 games away from the real thing. It all starts next Thursday, so we're getting one step closer every time we finish a quarter. But I'm excited for this one because it looks like Jalen Adams is going to play in this one. I think a lot of us were hoping, including Kings players, that Ian Clark would be playing. That is not the case for Melbourne United. Ian Clark is going to sit this one out, but there's still plenty of firepower on both sides. And as I said, 5 games away from the real thing. So all of this kind of really starts to matter even more.
Absolutely, it does. Melbourne United, they sit on top of the standings as it stands. So there's 3 teams that are undefeated: Melbourne, Tasmania and Perth. Tassie and Perth are both in action again tomorrow. Tassie take on Adelaide, Perth take on New Zealand. But United can go a long way to securing the Loggins-Bruton Cup with a win tonight. They've been in good form, and it's all been behind Matt Dellavedova, who's been a star. He steps into the starting lineup tonight.
Firstly, I think the only reason he was coming off the bench was he had a bit of a hamstring, a little soreness or coming off that leading into the Blitz. So they said, look, we're going to just play it a little safer, and maybe he hadn't been training. So they brought him off the pine. He's going to start in the season. I think the whole idea was they're going to go back to what was working for them with Shea Ili, Delhi and CG. Ian Clark, we know he's had success coming off the pine, and the way Matthew Dellavedova is playing, if he continues this offensive confidence, it's just going to be an unbelievable season for him, but obviously Melbourne United. And he doesn't need any extra motivation for any reason in any form of his career and his life, but maybe just that Boomer's omission has just kicked into another gear at his age, and he's in great nick, and he's currently balling out.
Oh, and he did everything he could to get into that Boomers squad. He was in some of the fittest form that he's been in his life, and unfortunately not quite getting over the line from his perspective, but it has worked out beautifully for Dean Vickerman and for Melbourne United. From the Sydney side of things, so as you mentioned, Jalen Adams comes into for his first game of this blitz. Denzel Valentine in the starting lineup, Quat Noy out there as well, Jalen Galloway, he's been really impressive for them. He looks primed to be one of the breakout players of NBL 24.
Yeah, I had Jalen Galloway early in the market for a most improved player conversation. He is just poised to, he's an NBA type player. You look at his athleticism. Coach Mahmoud has told him he wants him to be the Justin Simon of this Sydney Kings outfit. 3-and-D, but he can do a whole lot more than that the way he likes to play. But that athleticism caused problems on the defensive end, and it's hard. They've got a lot of talent in this Sydney Kings lineup. So where do you find those consistent minutes? And it's going to be on the defensive end. So Jalen Galloway, we saw players earlier today, and we mentioned it off the top. We talk about most improved player conversations. It's going to be an exciting battle because Lockie Ulbrich is one of those for sure, but Jalen Galloway is one who's poised to have a massive NBL 24.
Absolutely, he is, and maybe there's still a starting spot up for grabs in that Sydney Kings lineup. Maybe they haven't settled on who's going to start at that three-man position. It seems to be the only one that really you could maybe go either way with, and there's a potential to make that your own if you're Jalen Galloway.
Oh, I think for sure. I think a lot of people thought once Alex Tui joined the Next Stars program in the Kings that would be his starting spot, and I think there's still a chance if he plays well enough he can get that. But Jalen Galloway probably leading the charge right now. But the good thing is when you've got a lot of talent like that, anything can change any single week. It's
a good problem to have for the Sydney Kings brass. They have been super impressive, Melbourne United. We know that Ariel Hukporti, he's just looked back to some of his best. He's looked bouncy, he's looked fast, he's looked like he's got his legs under him again, which is a terrific sign because we know the promise that is there, we know the potential, and to see him sort of putting that some of that together, he'll just be hoping to get through this one unscathed and into the thick of the regular season next Thursday.
Absolutely. I mean, just to come off an Achilles injury and just be even more athletic, it's unbelievable to see, and it's a testament to him.
Not particularly fair.
It's not. I mean, it's a testament to the staff as well at Melbourne United for helping him out, and then just to have the confidence to play with the way he still plays, gets up above the rim, and he's obviously put on some size. He can't do a whole lot on the lower body for a while, but the one thing for him is obviously his touch around the rim, and the other one is his motor. That was the biggest question mark, was getting through the entire season and trying to play as many minutes the first time. He's got to continue to build that motor.
So the starting lineups for these two sides, Dellavedova is into that starting lineup for Melbourne United, having not started in either of their games so far as a straight replacement for Ian Clark. Dean Vickerman going with the remaining four that started both games of this NBL Blitz so far. Ariel Hukporti, Luke Travers, the captain Chris Golding and Shea Illy. For the Sydney Kings, their only game so far in this Blitz was a loss to Southeast Melbourne. That came on Monday night. Jordan Hunter gets the start. Jalen Adams is back into the lineup. Jalen Galloway is in there, Quat Noy and Denzel Valentine. So no Alex Tui, no Sean Bruce in the starting lineup for the Kings this evening. And a big cheerio to our friend Corey Homicide Williams as well. Corey's been watching a few of the games over the course of the season. We know he's fighting his health battles at the moment, but our thoughts are with him, our prayers are behind him. Such a character of the league, such a good basketball person. And we certainly hope that Corey's on the mend and that his health's doing as well as possible if he is tuned in to us tonight. Joel Peterson and Pete Hawley here with you. Courtside game or night 5 of the NBL Blitz. Melbourne 2-0, Sydney 0-1, looking for their first win. And it is a great pleasure to have a special guest commentator with us tonight, Pete, the Cairns Taipan star Tajir McCall stepping alongside. Tajir, great to have you with us.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me. I'm excited. Good game tonight.
Well, firstly, I heard you were supposed to do the first 2 games and you just wanted to wait for me.
Yeah. I couldn't commentate my own team. I feel like I would have been a little biased out there. It would have been a little hard for me to commentate the way I need to commentate.
Firstly, tell us how you're feeling before this game starts, because you've come over here on crutches, and that's not what I saw you with the other day.
No. I'm good. It's just a precaution to help it hit a little bit faster, but I'm fine. It's nothing serious.
A bit frustrating given you struggled with injury at the same time of last season. Just wanting a clean run at it?
Nah, it's not frustrating because I get to see the guys and they look good, so I'm excited. I'm happy.
You looked pretty excited over there a little bit earlier when Bobby Quinlan was throwing down a few dunks. That's for sure. Plenty of enthusiasm. What did you make of the Taipans win earlier today?
It was good. It was good. It's always good when you can win, and we haven't been a part of that a lot in the preseason. But the way the team is looking and we staying together, you know, we gave up a lot of points in the first quarter, but no one looked rattled, no one looked out of place, and we stayed together. So that's a good sign of a good team, a close team.
Plenty to talk about as we go throughout. Tajir McCall, our special guest commentator tonight here on KO Freebies. Great to have you with us. Sydney and Melbourne, Joel Peterson and Pete Hawley with you. Both starting lineups out there. What are you looking forward to in this game tonight, Tajir? When you look at these two sides, how they're assembled, what jumps out to you as to where it might be won or lost?
First, the coaching. They always have good coaching and good management, and they always put together teams that fit each other. You know, the role players, the stars, they always find a way to be cohesive and master their role. So I'm looking forward to how the two different types of styles battle. Sydney like to get up and down and play fast, where Melbourne likes to play type of a NBA, San Antonio style basketball and kind of move the ball side to side. So it'll be interesting to see.
Jordan Hunter controls the tip for the Kings. And now I'll kick us off on the offensive end. Jalen Adams just getting an early touch, having not played that first game of the season. Denzel Valentine was impressive for the Kings. Can't get that to go. Hunter can't get the tip either. And it falls out of play.
Tell you what, it's just great to see Jalen Adams back on an NBL floor.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to pick your brain throughout the night on. You obviously had a fair few matchups with him in his MVP year, and not too many things anyone can do successfully to stop him throughout a whole game, but just want to pick your brain on some of the things that go through your mind when you get in an isolation with great Jalen Adams.
Here's Valentine straight away triple. That won't go. Dellavedova's into the action again.
Oh my.
Pulls up immediately. Delhi with the early heat check.
I've not seen a heat check from Tuesday. It was a heat check from 48 hours ago.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Must have had a good warm-up.
Oh, he's certainly got the license to do that. A wild pass inside. Travers back the other way going downhill. Loses the handle. He's another one that got so many weapons. Oh, Jalen Adams wasting no time to get involved.
It's just one of those players who sees the game a step ahead.
Yeah. He's so comfortable with the ball. He's never in a rush, so it's kind of hard to tell what he's about to do because he doesn't have to force the issue. He just takes what the defense gives him.
Great pass there from Shea Illy, and one opportunity here. And you spot on, and even watching him warm up, and a lot of people were thinking he wasn't going to play because he's so unassuming. It looks like he's not going to really get a sweat up in warm-ups, but even before he gets the ball, when he gets it, it's just, he looks like he's never locked in, but I guess that's part of it, right?
Yeah, that's how he gets you. You think he's chilling, and then bam, he's shooting, or bam, he's making a counter move, and now you relax, and he got you lackadaisical. So you always gotta be a step ahead and kind of play defense at half court and be ready to play defense the whole possession.
Luke Travers at the free throw line. Of course, making the move to Melbourne this season. Another promising young player. You would have guarded Luke Travers on the odd occasion.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing about matching up on?
His length and his athleticism. He's pretty athletic, and it catches you by surprise sometimes. Another one that looks like he's not really doing too much or not going too hard, but then he's at the rim and he's on the rim. So you just got to kind of keep him out the paint. There he goes again. You see what I'm saying? It happens so fast.
Perfectly illustrated as he swoops to the cup, and Luke Travers got a chance to make 6 early points.
And I think this is what's going to be good for Luke Travers this year at Melbourne United, because Dean Vickman said he wants him to be that Jack White type.
Yes.
The way this system is set up, where you don't have to give him the ball and say, go and make things happen. He's going to get offensive rebounds. He's going to get a lot of cuts in that situation, and then he's going to finish at the rim.
So 40 has a big saying, simple is more. Simple is, it makes the game a lot easier when you can focus on 1 or 2 things and then do that the best you can. Shaq than a fool.
Jordy Hunter's, he's good for 1 a year. Hopefully, I don't know if that's going to be the only one we see.
I'm laughing, and I think I did something similar last year, so I probably should stay out of that.
So not ideal for the big fella.
It's so good to see him back on the court. It makes me very happy to see Luke out there just with his injury and him rehabbing, and he was such a dominant force that first year. I'm just happy for him to be back out there.
Dellavedova to inbound.
Oh, here we go.
Corner 3 ball for Delhi. A little bit short.
He's missed his first 2 now. We haven't seen that too often this week in the Gold Coast.
20 plus in both of his outings so far, making a fair old run at the Rayborner Trophy. Valentine. That one's around, out, and back in.
This is a Valentine, and I guess that's one thing it's great that we have Tajir here for, is Chris Golding in the corner. That's way too much time and space.
Oh, got lucky on that one.
But Denzel Valentine coming in, we know he's got that NBA pedigree. He's been around. He had a great career at Michigan State, and a lot of people would expect you come to the NBL with that pedigree, with that resume, that you're going to come in and tear it up. And what was your first impression coming into the NBL, and how much did that change after the first couple of games? Because we know how good this league is, but it's also very different to the American style.
Yes. Honestly, to be quite honest, I didn't have a first impression of the NBL because it was my first time hearing about it. Wow.
Already getting up.
But getting over here is a lot more talent. I'm talking about 1 through 10. Like, of course, you know the imports. I kind of know some of them because they're American and I done played against them or been around them. But then you get to Australians and people from New Zealand and France and the next stars, and it's no easy matchup. Like, even the switches is hard, and the physicality, and everyone plays hard. In the NBA, in the G League, you have possessions where it doesn't really matter, some possessions, or you take some off. And it's like, I mean, through the end of the game, everyone is playing, so you have to pick your game up the whole game. So that was the biggest adjustment for me.
That right there is what NBA scouts want to see from Porty. Just that touch around the rim, because no one's blocking that. Oh my goodness, Jalen Galloway.
I like him a lot.
I bought stock on him a long time ago, and you just see why. The quick bounce just takes 1 or 2 steps, and he's up above the rim. He's got the strength to him as CG tries to answer back. And, well, say doesn't mean much time or space. He needs none of that to get going.
Some fireworks early here between these two teams.
So it's going to be a great matchup. I'm glad I'm here to see this game. I'm appreciative of this opportunity.
Well, we're glad that we have you here. Hunter hits the deck. Adams leans into one and can't get it to go. 13-7 early doors.
I think that's a big mistake, taking the body off of Golden. I feel like the way he shoots the ball, you have to keep a body on him at all times. Even if you're switching, I'd rather be late switching on to someone else and 2 people go with Golden and then have the defense rotate than to take a body off of him and have him separate with space. He's so smart and been doing it for so long.
What's your mindset like then? So say your role that you're going in and play against Melbourne United, and you put your hand up and say, I want Chris Golding tonight. He's been on fire. I'm trying to shut him down. And then say what we've seen in the Blitz, Matthew Dellavedova's come out and had 17 points in the first 6 minutes as Jalen Galloway, good drive there. And you're in that situation. Are you still saying, you know what, I can't let Chris Golding catch fire, or are you going to go and help your teammate on Matthew Dellavedova?
That's a good question. Depends on what teammate is on what defenders. Of course, you have some matchups that you prefer, and then you have some matchups where you have to do a little bit more help. But honestly, if Delhi got that many points, I'm probably switching on to Delhi, and I need to cut that off, and then someone else has to take Golden, and then I'll switch back. But I feel like you have to kind of live with something, and Golden, can do that consistently all night for the whole season. You know what I mean? You got to kind of pick your poison. Not that Delhi can't do it, but I mean, I didn't see Golden do it for a long. I've only been over here for 3 years, so I think you just got to pick which one you'd rather live with.
We talked about Jalen Adams being unassuming and they're just flicking a switch. I think Chris Golding is the perfect example of that on the other side.
Well, we know that he can do that.
Good pass.
Dellavedova cross-court pass. Cameron outside.
And
I like the exciting young talents we talk about around the league.
Yes.
Flynn Cameron, and obviously comes from a strong pedigree. And he is going to be a force throughout his entire career if he stays in the NBL.
I like how hard he plays, too. But it's crazy because Luke Porty rolling like that is what opened that up. And a lot of people don't notice that, but that means a lot in a basketball game. It's called a screen assist.
Sean Bruce is off target with his 3 ball.
So, Tajir, you coached the first game. We know you coached the Blitz last year, and you're talking about the X's and O's with the screen assist. I'm interested, do you sit and film after that with the coach, or are you just a one and done? Or you go through that whole process?
No, so I went through the whole process, pregame, setting up the starting lineup. Coach helped me with the rotations, but the timeouts and everything, he kind of let me just go out there and roll the ball, and so I learned a lot this time around.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. I thought that had no chance of going in. But I learned a lot this time around, and it kind of put a lot of pressure on me and made me rise to the occasion. Usually when I'm under pressure, I do a good job of rising to the occasion. So it was a good experience for me.
Did you find it easier having done it last year at the Blitz?
Yes.
Did you know that what you're in for a little bit?
Yes, 100%. And my assistant coaches and the style and system 40 put in has helped me a lot and made it a little bit easier for me to coach. I just got to kind of manage the personalities and kind of be a motivator. So that helped a lot. But also I knew what to expect as far as it's a game of runs, not to panic, kind of take yourself out the moment and realize that it's a bigger picture always, and just trust your guys to follow through eventually.
We saw Kerry Williams coaching a little bit earlier today, time
Great
out
job.
19-9 Melbourne over Sydney. Do you then, having coached the first game, do you talk to him in the build-up? How does that work from going from game one, what you saw, to then translating that to getting Kerry ready for game two?
So it's a big difference because now in game two, I'm more of the players coach, so I'm more of the after Kerry talks, kind of keeping guys locked in, kind of keeping guys on the same page and letting him be the lead voice and just asking him what he needs from me. So you kind of get a bit of each role, the assistant role, the head role, then the player role. So it gives you different aspects of the game and different lenses.
I heard Adam Ford describe you as somewhat of the assistant GM in the off-season as well. So, how many hats have you got on? You've got player, you've got assistant GM, you've got coach.
A lot.
Is there anything we don't know about that you're doing behind the scenes?
A couple things, but we'll say that for later. But a GM is just, I understand people and I understand how personalities work and what games work with what shooters work with well, what rollers work with well, pick and roll bigs, shooters that come off screens or shooters that stay, like, it's a lot that go into it, so a lot of teams put just pieces together that's nice, but it doesn't all work like a puzzle. So the puzzle, I love solving puzzles, and that's what I think GMs do.
Speaking of coaches and GMs, and we'll talk a bit more throughout the game and this season, but the new Sydney Kings head coach, Mark Wood, is not only an incredible basketball mind, but he might just be one of the greatest people. If you get a chance to speak to him, you've never seen a vibe more infectious and a positive energy that is radiant throughout everything that he does, the way he speaks, and it is honestly, I said it, they've done a great job recruiting in the off-season player-wise, but they can't top what they've done. And again,
meet them, though.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And again, it's a credit to the league and it's a credit to Sydney Kings, who everyone just writes them off for some reason after they win, saying they lose imports, they can't possibly do it again, and they find a way.
I'm telling you, that's a machine. Yeah, I know. Smart people. I would have did that too. But even in the G League on RGV, people that I know, I've always spoke highly of him. So that goes to show that that's him. That's who he is. It's not a fluke. But like I said, Melbourne, Sydney, they're kind of a machine right now. They just know how to plug people in and keep moving and groom people and make people kind of grow up into their potential. So that's why I said I love watching these teams play.
There you go. For Mayberry having, well, we said there's always a little bit extra in the Melbourne-Sydney game, no matter when it is, and no surprise that will be Sean Bruce involved in that.
Sean Bruce involved in a little bit of a scrimmage with Matthew Dellavedova a few moments ago. A couple of country Victorian boys going head-to-head.
Flynn Cameron not going to back down either, and we asked Flynn Cameron what he learned from his old man, and he summed it up in one word. In life, he just says, bully.
Yeah.
And Pero Cameron was every bit of that.
Had to get you far.
Great to have Tajir McCall with us here on KF Freebies. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you. Night 5 of the NBL Blitz. Golding from the car park. He was down near Tweed Head.
That right there, as someone who backboard tapped once, Kyle Bowen's done nothing wrong there but try and get his body in the way of a super athletic Jalen Galloway trying to go up and get a rebound. And the timing is just unfortunate that he gets whistled for an offensive foul.
Yeah. And Sydney got lucky again. I don't think you could chop your feet on Golden when you close out. I think you got to run him off the line and kind of force him to play inside that three-point line.
Interesting looking over at the Melbourne United bench. Dean Vickerman sitting far right in the Tajir McCall seat from earlier today.
I take that. I like any comparison to Dean, I'm taking it.
A very common thing we're starting to see in preseason games and the Blitz, letting other coaches have a chance. As Chris Golding, I'm not sure whether if he's been told, look, you're playing the first half and then sitting down, but this is the most aggressive we've seen him this week.
So it's amazing. He missed that last shot, but it still was a great look. So now he feels comfortable shooting the ball. That's why I said he might have missed, but you got lucky.
His form looked good pre-game. Galloway gets to his right hand and lays it home. That's a pretty move.
And I think that's what you mentioned, letting the assistant coaches get a crack at a real game. I think that in-game coaching is unteachable and unmeasurable, and them getting that chance to actually be in the head seat and see what that feels like and how they react to situations, it changes your career.
Well, that is Jacob Chance, as we were talking about taking over Melbourne United tonight, and he is tested for a bright future. He's been added to the Boomers staff. We know that as well. Coming over from the Jack Jumpers, he'll be a head coach in the NBL if he wants, but I think he's got bigger aspirations than that, and he's going to make it there.
As he should.
Shayley turning the corner. Krebs in the corner. Not quite. Sean Bruce is away back the other way for the Kings.
Oh, extra. Nearly had a touchdown there, Sean Bruce.
One or two, maybe. Bolden with the active hands.
It's been impressive with their hands, the Sydney Kings. That defensive identity that Mahmoud has talked a lot about in the off-season, that's what he wants to build on.
A little bit of frustration and feeling in this one.
Well, again, with Sean Bruce, Tanner Krebs is another one who, if there is a little bit of scuffle and he is on the floor, he is $1 to be involved.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of those.
So where are you situated, Tajir? If there's a little bit of a scuffle, are you in there? Are you outside watching? Are you just coming in for some help late? What type of character are you in that situation?
Honestly, I'm usually the one that's starting it or in there. I can't even lie, but I'm trying to be a grower this year and more mature and be the mediator, so hopefully I can say I'm out of it this year.
I thought you were going to say you're going to be the one that finishes them.
Oh, no.
It's Krebs in the corner.
What a pass there, Shea Ely.
I know. Great Cassell pass.
Katorna picks down the rebound.
Hello.
Sean Bruce, such a steadying influence on this Kings team. Working on Rob Lowe. Awkward pass out for Tui. He goes from deep.
Oh, hello.
Yes!
He's got we know, a bright future in the Next Stars program, but Alex Tui is going to have a really good season for this Sydney Kings team. He's got the size, he's got the length, but he's got that touch as well. I know that was deep and with a shot clock. And Sean Bruce well, let's have a few things to Shea Ely coming in, and here we go. Well, this is what we expected from Melbourne and Sydney.
I'm ready for this game. I should have got some popcorn.
Yeah. Sean Bruce just offering a couple of words of advice to Rob Lowe.
The refs did a good job, too, of separating that really fast, but not doing too much.
Well, there's been a lot of mayonnaise these last couple of minutes. Look here, and it's a very easy call, and a few things to say.
I don't read lips well, so I won't try to say what he said.
I think Rob Lowe had a little bit to it, but it was definitely there, and then Shea Ely come in, look after his teammates, and as we expected. And this is what Sean Bruce is going to do. I mean, he's made a career off. He's going to annoy people to the point of putting them out of their game, but what he can also do is if your team is in a funk for whatever reason, just doing a little thing, it might be seen as dirty, but it's not going to be crossing the line. But what it's going to do, it's going to fire up your team.
It's one of those things, and I was just about to say that it's one of those things when you're on the other team, you hate it and you start to dislike him
until he's on your team,
and then you love it because I realize how much that does. Even to me personally, I've went through that where you have to breathe and it works, and he does it so well, and he's such a great person off the court that you wouldn't even know.
I think he's bought into that more, and we know he's out for the league for a couple of years, and undeservedly so, in my opinion. And from that, I think he had that chip on his shoulder that when he came back, and we know he performed, he's an outstanding passer, and we've seen him step up and score the ball when he's needed, but he's now captain and a leader in that role, and he's going to do the things he has to do to win.
And that's why I said they're a master in their roles. They do their roles to the 100 percentile.
Thanks, Tui.
Nice finish from Tui. So he's got 5 early points. And if you're into the NBL Supercoach this year, I'm thinking that man is probably going to be in your lineup.
Well, it's hard, to be honest, because I looked at Alex Tui as well, but how much consistent opportunity is going to be there on a deep Kings lineup now? And I haven't done Supercoach, haven't done fantasy before, and I've locked in. I shouldn't have any of your team actually today because you're going away to the States. So I've been told, I've been reading a couple of experts saying don't do it yet. But I have locked, and I think everybody after this week should have locked in Taron Armstrong because that is an unbelievable ceiling that he has.
Yes. And like you said, just on Sydney team, it's always about fit. You probably go to another team and you can play 30 minutes, but Sydney is, like you said, 1 through 12, legit guys that can play consistently. But he looks pretty confident out there and comfortable out there.
Showing the handle.
Charge.
Here's Katorna. And that is a charge.
Shea Ely's so great at that.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of people would think that Shea Ely's moving there, but he's so quick at just getting straight and in front right at the last moment. Have a look at this. Right at the last moment, gets that shuffle across to take that one through the chest. And
so low to the ground. His feet move so fast, so his steps are moving a little bit faster than yours.
Who's the one player in the league then? And we've obviously got some new ones this year, but since you've been here, that if you're bringing up the ball and you've played 1 through 5 for the tight ends, and you turn around and catch the ball and they're there full court, and you're just like, bloody hell.
Yeah, probably Shea, but Tazzy as a team. Tazzy as a team is the team that I'm like, you know, you just don't get to breathe. It's constant, nonstop. But definitely Shea Illy would be one of them. Who else? It's a couple of them. Matt Kenyon, like I said, off Tazzy. Junior Maduk was on Tazzy, of course, too. Antonius Cleveland, when he was here, he's not in the league anymore, but of course him. But it's a couple of players you just have to be aware of, get rid of the ball, which I like to do, and I'll just catch you down here on the other end.
Smart play. Smart play.
I told you simple is more sometimes.
Mentioned Taron Armstrong before, Tajir.
Yes,
What's the most exciting part about his game from your perspective?
Of course the passing. Everyone sees that, but the work he puts in it, in the way he's so comfortable with the ball. Even if you watch him work out, like he'll lose the ball, but he's not losing the ball, or he'll be stuck, but he's not stuck. You watch him get trapped or press, great pass, and one.
And a nice finish as well. Tui going to the hoop.
What a great start for Alex Tui. That deep 3 ball, the little right to left cross, and one opportunity. Now he gets another one of those.
Great start. But to continue on Taron, he's just confident on the court. He's so comfortable on the court. Like, you can tell he's been around the game for a long time, so it gives you a sense of ease and confidence on the court. And the person he is makes it so much better. That's my little guy right there.
Speaking of Adam Ford a little bit earlier today, just the tempo that he plays with and the poise that he's got, it's pretty impressive for a young man.
I'm telling you, I watched him in traps, and he just looks like he's not getting trapped, like no one's there, and it makes you like, okay, we're good.
Travers almost had the pass knocked away. Ricochet back
Sydney
to him.
does a great job of having active hands in their gaps. I mean, if you look, everyone's hands is out. Oh my gosh.
Travers with a big slam over the top of the defense.
You said it.
That came out of nowhere. That was no run up. I don't even know if that was a drop step.
Off the vert.
Straight vert.
Athletic.
That's when you know you made a good play. Luke Travers' eyes have been glued to the replay screen, just waiting to see that before he gets on the Instagram.
Just making sure that all 46 NBA scouts in the building saw that one. 28-23, Melbourne United lead. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley. Great to have Tajir McCall here as Tui again goes strong to the cup.
I think he's trying to make a case that he does need to be in this lineup consistently.
Here it is. Have a look at this. Little no-look pass and then straight vert.
It's a great pass. Good catch, too.
That's just 2 beautiful heads of hair going at it. This has been a really strong start. Alex Tui. 10 points now already in double figures.
And this game has been exciting. It's only the first quarter. I feel like it's the 4th quarter.
Like 3.5 minutes. You've got 10 points. You know what? Joel, I might have to rethink that whole Supercoach thing with Alex Tui.
Yep. I'll have him in my lineup. Thanks very much.
2-3 zone here. And
good shot.
Mid-range jump shot from Rob Lowe's pure. That's his bread and butter.
Most people think that's a bad shot because the stats say it, but I pretty much guarantee you could work a whole possession and not get that good of a look and that type of rhythm in the shot.
And look, I don't mind a little switch up for the zone for the Kings, but Glover throws it away. You probably can't do it with Rob Lowe at the 5 from Melbourne United, because anywhere he catches it around there is a good shot. He's a terrific shooter. So maybe you save that 2-3 zone when Hook Porty comes back in.
Yes.
Because the problem is as well, Rob Lowe is probably looking to step out to the corner and shoot the 3.
He's looking for that space. He's playing into his comfort zone now. Back to the man, like you said.
Had a really hot shooting start to last season, Rob Lowe for the Breakers. By Tui off the weak side. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's the next star. Adams down the lane.
Remember his dunk to tie the game, and then they ended up winning against the Bullets when he was here a couple of years ago.
And so I think Shea's mad because he probably should have let the ball bounce until it got under 24 so they don't get a 2-for-1. So now they have the last possession, but now Sydney gets another possession. See what I'm saying?
Underneath. Adams takes it away. 9 in the corner remaining.
And
Bolden!
Oh, great outlet, great pace, fellas.
And Travers straight back the other way.
Oh,
What an end to the opening quarter.
Blink and you'll miss it. You're talking about 2 for 1, Taj. It was 4 in 1. But that's what Sydney do. You talk about it. Quick turnover. They're off on the break, and I don't think they expected Travers to leak out. But this is an exciting start to this one, which is what we expect.
The poise and the awareness to get the ball out and still push it is amazing.
32-28 quarter time. Well, you've been treated early doors here. Luke Travers has got 10. Alex Tui's got 10 at the other end. 2 of the young guns in the competition going head to head. And it has been great fun in this opening quarter. Joel Peterson and Pete Hawley with you alongside Cairns Taipan star Tajir McCall. Taipan's winners earlier today over Southeast Melbourne. Illawarra getting the job done over Brisbane in the middle game of this triple header on the Gold Coast. Day 5 of the NBL Blitz for 2024.
Have you enjoyed the Gold Coast, Taj? I mean, you're living in Cairns, so it's hard to really ask. I should be asking someone from Tassie. a bit of different weather.
No, it's great. I hope they put a team here. I know it's been talks about it, and I don't know how that works. But even the fans that's turned out, and just the energy in the city, the things you have to do. You know what I mean? The weather, the pool. I don't think you could beat having a team here and being able to travel here. I would love that. You know what I mean? I can't complain about that. But it's been great.
It's been great to have you with us so far. Taj, we'll let you step aside for a moment. At quarter time, 32-28, Melbourne United in front in this one. 4-point lead. Great to have the insights of Tajir McCall.
It's great, isn't it? You just get the
enthusiasm.
One of the best competitors we've seen in the league.
Watching him over there on the bench earlier today was good fun. It was good fun. He just enjoys his teammates' contributions so much. It is very cool stuff. Melbourne United and the Sydney Kings going at it here, of course. Melbourne United will be in action opening night of the NBL season. Alongside myself, Joel Peterson, and Pete Hawley, it is great to have Luke Longley, Australian basketball royalty, with us. Luke, welcome to the call.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time since I sat in front of a game and had a call. It was the Atlanta Olympics, I think, was the last time I did it.
Well, we've stepped it up a little bit then.
That's right.
Here in the Gold Coast. How are you enjoying your time in the Goldie first?
Yeah, I'm loving it. We obviously a lot of new pieces and new coach and sort of discovering ourselves as we go. So it's been fun watching the guys have a go, get off the practice court and against some live competition.
I've already seen a little bit of push and shove between Melbourne and Sydney, and we hyped it up beforehand. There's just always something about a game against these two teams. There's always something more.
Yeah, and the way that we're playing this year will only exacerbate that. We're going to start playing like Melbourne. We'll be a physical team this year. Our defense is pretty aggressive. It's a high risk, high reward sort of an situation. So yeah, and a great rivalry too.
You mentioned a little bit about the identity and obviously with coaching and stuff. Can you tell us a little about the recruiting process of the new head coach? Because Chase Buford, you win back-to-back titles, but Mark Moody, he's an unbelievable basketball brain, but just the person that he is, I honestly feel like you couldn't have found any better person to lead this club.
Well, I'm glad you say that, mate, because we feel exactly the same way. We're really proud to have him. We think he's an NBA coach in the future. We love the way he thinks about the game. We love the way he relates to the guys. He's been great. Chase was great in his way, and Moo's great in a different way. So we were fortunate. I think we didn't expect that he was necessarily going to come down and take. It's a risk. It's a game. It's a different situation for these guys. There we go. But he's been great and very clear. The guys respond to him. We tried to find some dirt on him at Summer League. And
he told me about that when I had a little interview with his feature, and he said that Deshaun Tate and other people were ringing around because everyone wanted dirt, and it just doesn't exist.
No, we'll get some by the end of the year, though. I'm on the case.
He'd be pretty happy with what he's seen so far. This has been an entertaining clash. Luke, opening night of the NBL season, Melbourne United versus Southeast Melbourne. The Kings aren't involved, but a former teammate of yours is in Scotty Pippen, who's coming down under.
I can't wait to see Scotty down here. He's been talking about coming down here for 10 years, like most of my teammates. Americans are like, it's a long way from LA to Sydney. So I'm looking forward to seeing him down there. And he follows the Kings, and when I owned the Wildcats, he knew about the Wildcats. So he knows about the NBL. He's familiar with it. and obviously there's a growing awareness of it in America generally. So it'll be fun to have him to a game.
Do you think that this could lead to a potential? He's just looking around saying, well, if there's a team that's up for sale at some point, maybe I'll just put my hand up again. Then he might call you again, and then we start it all again.
There we go. Look, I wouldn't want him as an adversary. He's pretty cunning. I mean, there's precedent for that, right? There's a bunch of guys who've been in the league and got parts of this. And he's coming out to support us and back it, and a little bit of an ambush on the AFL and the NRL final. So that'll be good. I can't wait. I haven't hung out with Scotty in a long time.
Have you got dinner plans sorted? Because again, speaking of memories,
looking for an invite, Pete?
No, I'm not, because they're just the one. Everyone I was asked about best memories I have of you, and obviously when we were running around South Korea for Australian stuff, and then you were assistant coach, and you took us off your own back to a South Korean barbecue, and for some reason I can't remember, we all had to take our shoes off and sit barefoot on the floor, and you've got Luke Longley sitting at the end on a cushion.
Yeah, I've got a photo of that in my phone somewhere. I like that team. I like that experience. That was great. I love coaching those teams. Yeah.
What do you got planned with Scotty?
For Scotty, you know what? I'm just going to let it unfold in front of us. I think the NBL's got him a pretty full calendar.
Yeah.
So I think we got some cruises to do and some games to go to, and fun finds Scotty. So we won't have to look too hard.
You can imagine Luke Longley, great to have him with us. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley with you, 37-35, Melbourne leading the Sydney Kings. Will he be around long enough to sneak up to a Sydney home game? You're not home in round one.
He won't be at a Sydney home game this time round. Oh, whoops. I think, with any luck, he'll be back later on. We'll get him to Sydney eventually.
Sounds like it's a good place to be. Well, record crowds all of last year in the final series, so it's a good environment.
It is, and it's going to be an incredible season. And the Sydney Kings, you talk about everything they've done. This young fella right here on the screen behind kicks, Jalen Galloway. And again, you're in an amazing position now to have seen so much of this young talent come through. Josh Giddey in the NBL and all of that, but he's flown under the radar a little bit, but just how big is his ceiling? And we talk about NBA prospects. I mean, he's definitely an NBA prospect.
Yeah, he is. There was 42 scouts here the other day. I think 41 of them reached out about him. Like they were all impressed, and he played great that first half too. They're also, Tui's well and truly on their radar. So a couple of exciting young guys, and they both get to play in the seams around some experienced pros, which will be fun to see too. They won't have to shoulder a big responsibility. They'll get to follow their games, and that's where Jalen's great, in the flow of something that's happening organically. And he's put on a bit of size. He's jumping higher than he did last year. He's sort of come out of himself a bit and much more aggressive on the floor, as you saw, and I think he's going to be a handful.
Speaking of new players as well, and we've seen him come in, he already hit a couple of threes. Jonah Bolden had some time away from the game, and we know what you do with a lot of the bigs around the Sydney Kings at times. Can you tell us a little bit as Denzel Valentine knocks that one down? What's your day-to-day like been in the off-season or pre-season as he's trying to get back into rhythm? Because people expect it's going to take some time. How much do you have to do with him on a day-to-day basis?
Look, I haven't been around a lot pre-season, so the coaches have been taking care of that. I'm really just monitoring him and checking in with him, and really interested in the process of having him come back and rediscover the game, and get his body to talk to his brain again, which is the thing that's going to take a minute. But no, I'm not day to day with him. He doesn't need me to teach him anything. He's played at a high level, so it's really just a support role I play.
From what he's saying to you, is he enjoying the experience of being back in the professional environment?
Yep, I think he's loving it. He's honouring that part of, himself, I suppose, and playing basketball again. He's playing with real joy. He's practicing with joy, and the guys like playing with him. And that length doesn't get old, So and as his body sort of gets used to the game again, we'll see more and more of him. But yeah, he's a great guy to have around the team, and daily he improves.
We don't have you for too long here, and we appreciate you giving us your time. But I do want to ask, on the whole time that you've been involved now with the Kings, and what kind of feeling does it give you? Obviously winning a championship is one thing, but maybe it's seeing a player go and make the NBA. It's seeing someone improve and go and get a better deal, and you having a lot to do with that. Maybe not in terms of basketball skill, but them growing as people. Where you're at in your life, how does that make you feel?
That's incredibly rewarding. That's exactly why I got into coaching to start with, to try to see young guys grow up. And I mean, guys like Kawat, for instance, who hadn't really found their groove yet, and he's been here and found his groove. It made, that's why I'm doing it. That's what I enjoy. And it turns out coaching wasn't for me, but that is. And we do a good job out at the Kings, and we want to keep doing a good job.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time of the year, and we look forward to seeing what you can do in Sydney colours this season. Of course, defending back-to-back championships. A 10-0 run in the last couple of minutes here has been pretty handy. How do you think the rest of this one plays out?
Well, I think we're, I like the way we've been playing. We've got this aggressive switching defence that you're seeing at the top, and it's, the idea is that it wears teams out, and we're deep. You can't do much with that, though. Chris Goulding is just proving me completely wrong. But here we go, athletes run up and down the floor. That's what we want to see more of as Kings.
Before we let you go, I do want to ask, you've obviously been around success and winning championships at every single level. What does an off-season look like in terms of the mindset and a culture where winning 3 is hard? It is impossible to do, or not impossible to do, but to do it 3 in 3 years. Trying to get the mindset right, and we always say the championship hangover, but 2 of them. What extra things do you do in the off-season? What do you talk about? Because it's one of the hardest things to do there is in professional sport.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard, unless you got MJ at the helm.
Yeah, well, that's
and Phil and Pip and Dennis. Then it's not that hard.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Even I can do it.
Yeah,
mate.
that's where I was going.
But one of the challenges, obviously, is being fresh. Is giving the rest of the league a different look. They've just seen you for 2 years. When you win, the other teams emulate that and they prepare for it. And so we've taken care of part of that almost accidentally by completely refreshing our roster and our head coach. So that's the first one, and I think we're in good place to do that if we can play, gel together as a team. The second one is keeping everyone happy. When you win championships, everyone deserves and gets a bigger paycheck and a bigger role, and so people grow through it, and keeping everyone satisfied and hungry, I suppose. Our guys are plenty hungry, and they all seem pretty satisfied, and that's a lovely little passage of play. Thanks.
They look like it.
On that note, well, we might say thank you, man. We're going to see you next Thursday, obviously.
Yep,
but thank you for your time, and
I look forward to it.
good luck for the rest of the season with the Kings.
Thanks,
You've got an
man.
exciting group.
Very good.
Luke
You guys
Longley
do a
joining
great job.
us.
I'll take you up on another South Korean barbecue at some
There you
point.
go.
by
Let's
the
do
way.
it.
Let's
I'm
do
in.
it.
Luke Longley joining us as part of our commentary here, night 5 of the NBL Blitz, Melbourne and Sydney. Great to be joined by Australian basketball royalty and, of course, part of the Sydney Kings ownership, and teammate Scottie Pippen coming down under for round 1 of the NBL season. 46-41 to Melbourne United. To Sydney, I should say. Sydney went on a 10-0 run while we were talking to Luke there, Pete, and really blew it open. And they've been playing some great basketball here in this second period.
Yeah, they have. And look, I mean, what a terrific insight there.
Yeah.
From Luke Longley. I mean, giving us some time when he's watching. But I love the fact that obviously he knows what it takes to win at the highest level possible, playing with the likes of MJ and Scottie Pippen. But the reward that he gets from seeing men grow as people and players and do all that, obviously the success comes with winning a championship. But it's great to have him back. I remember how excited everybody was when he decided to get back involved with the league, and speaks so highly of it. And obviously I'm looking forward to seeing. Actually, I need to hear what Scottie Pippen and Luke Longley get up to, because now that he's off with the broadcast, I can tell a story. Well, we were in China for 2 weeks before he went to South Korea. We were 2015 for the World Uni Games, and he was our assistant coach for Australia. We finished the last night, and so we finished the tournament or whatever. I think we'd won the tournament. And so we went out for a couple of drinks, and we're all about to leave the hotel. And Luke turned around and said, fellas, give me 30 minutes. If you find me, the tab's on me for the night. And so he goes, give me 30 minutes. So we gave him 30 minutes. Everyone took off. Everyone's getting on the scooters. Everyone's going to look for Luke. Can't find him anywhere, so we've given up. The next morning he goes, fellas, what are we doing? Sitting in the hotel lobby. Never went anywhere. Never went anywhere.
That's a great story.
There you go. That is... just needed to look a little bit harder.
Well, it's not like
Where's Waldo?
It's not like he's in Cairns and saying, if you come find me, because everyone knows there's one place to go over there.
Oh, beautiful spin
Where's
move.
there?
from
I wouldn't know.
Valentine.
You probably know better than me.
I've been retired too long.
I'm about to say, if it's not the gym, I don't know.
Great to have Tajir McCall back with us. Speaking of Scottie Pippen, Tajir, I mean,
Yes, sir.
he was an idol for a lot of people growing up.
Yes, sir.
Who was the one that caught your eye when you were...
Iverson.
Allen
Yeah,
Iverson.
it's not close. I'm from Philadelphia, so that was who I got to see. You know what I mean? We used to have nosebleed seats and then sneak down because we wasn't that good some years and get to able to be up close. But yeah, Allen Iverson, 1, 2, and 3 for me.
Pete, who was the one for you?
Sporting idol? Oh, To be honest, it's JJ Redick was for me.
That's a good one.
I was named my dog Duke after university. We say Duke down here.
Say it
not
again.
Duke.
Say
We
it
say Duke.
Juke?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of I know. I've got
Like-
an American.
I'm glad you clarified
with an
that.
American-
Like a running back.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm glad you clarified that.
I've got an American wife who always gives me fun, makes fun of that for me. But for some reason, they were on the TV more than NBA at the time, and I fell in love watching him at Duke, which everyone else, if you weren't a Duke fan at the time, hated
Him. Yeah.
One of the most hated college players of
Yes.
all time.
And now for some reason, Duke might as well be an NBA establishment.
Phenomenal talent development program that they've had over many years.
One of my best friends, Emil Jefferson, went there. Yeah. So
That's
I got to hear about that. We actually played them one year.
At Cameron?
Yeah, made sports in the top 10, number
Ooh.
5.
Really?
Yeah, we lost though.
Well,
but
that doesn't matter.
I know.
You did not have to say that. Well,
but I have to throw that out there because I just wanted to be clear that. But yeah, it was a great moment. It was a great experience. Jason Tatum and Emil Jefferson, those guys was on the team. Grayson Allen. It was a good game. Great game.
It's great to know that I'm sitting here and I have one thing over you, and that is that I was Sports Center top 1. So
wow, you was number 1?
I was.
What did you do for that? Oh, watch
chilly.
yourself.
This has heated up a little bit. It's Shea Illy. We have very close.
I'm a little
our
scared.
families. I am too.
I'm starstruck.
I'm not choosing to run into Shea Illy just quietly.
This is a goodie. Well, how? If you don't mind me asking, what was the number? Is this real life?
Yeah, this is college.
It's hard for me to believe. I
No,
had to ask you. Okay, tell me.
No, it's. I'll tell you at halftime.
Okay,
It's,
that works.
College championship game winner.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. I
That's what we
apologize.
charge.
We'll get the footage for halftime.
Oh, look, if you're going to throw it up there, I'll retweet it. No, I can't help it.
The annual anniversary of it gets tweeted, I think. Each
Yeah,
year.
it's like a tick. As soon as I see it pop up, I just can't help it.
Yeah, I know. I wish mine popped up more. I would know about it. I would definitely post mine.
I got you.
Kings.
Well, Mabry just telling Shea Lee just settle down a bit. He thought there was a bit of extracurricular from Kuwait Noi, which we've seen so far. There was a strong chance that there was a little bit extra to that.
Yes, this type of game, championship atmosphere, even though it's preseason, you know it carries a lot when you play it against a team. You want them to feel you and know who you are.
Krebs with the 3-ball. He's knocked down a couple in this quarter.
But that's the second time that they just got a middle drive and then a easy kick out to the corner 3. That's the easiest shot in the game. That's a simple pass. They denying the wing.
Bruce and Illy will be an interesting matchup. That will be fun to watch over the next couple of minutes. Here's Kuwait Noi.
There go my guy. That's Sir Moy.
We know that Kuwait Noi can do that.
We also know he's not shy of having a
Such
chat out
a
there.
great pickup.
Here's Illy from the free throw line. A little bit
Good
strong,
rebound.
but Porty with strength.
This is a heavyweight match. You gotta bring your big boy pants for this game.
If you are watching, don't go anywhere because we're not going to see these two teams until round 8.
Yeah.
November 19th. It's a long time between drinks for seeing Melbourne versus Sydney. So I think that's why they're having a little crack here. And no doubt that was said in the pre-game. A lot of people expecting these two teams to be in the pointy end. So let's just have a crack at this one.
Nice finish from Krebs, who's on a little bit of a heater at the moment.
And again, Luke doing the little things. That's another screen assist. He just screened his own man so he could get downhill. So he's doing a lot of things that you won't see in the stat sheet. That means a lot. I'm telling you, he's making a lot of plays that's changing his game.
Another hook Porty block.
And look, probably about to get a
Hello.
dunk.
And at the other end,
Oh.
not quite. He had 3 blocks the other night.
He just ran out a bit of energy there. And that's exactly what happened. He played 17 minutes a game in his first time around before the Achilles injury in that season. And the one thing Dean Vickman wanted him to do was continue to build his motor. Obviously, he's put on size, he's come back more athletic, but he goes so hard that he burns himself out. And if that's the first play of the game, he's flushing that.
100%. And you got to remember, he just came off an injury, and this is his first action getting his game win. You can never work out enough to get your game win back. So it's going to take him a couple games to be in game shape to see where he really put the work in the offseason.
And again, there's a bit more to this Sydney game, so the pace is flowing. So even if you've been practicing and all these different playing games in practice, as soon as you see another team in front of you, it gasses you quicker.
And the physicality, a lot more bumping. It's a lot chippier, so that takes a lot out of your win. Like a UFC fight, just leaning on somebody takes a lot out of you. Look, his hands is on his knees. He's gassed. You're absolutely right.
Cannot cannot at all compare myself to a UFC fighter, so I wouldn't know what you're talking about there. Like, I've seen you throw hands, maybe. Maybe it was.
No, not a UFC hands. I will not take that.
54-51, Kings over Melbourne United. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley. Great to have Tajir McCall from the Cairns Taipans with us. Just under a minute remaining in this opening half.
The one thing that both these teams won't be happy with is the points on the board. I mean, for the opposition. 20 is the magic number each quarter. You're trying to hold them under 20, and those elite teams are going to try and do it under 18. You talk about Tasmania, and I think it's in the last 6 years or something that there's been 3 or 4 teams that have made the top 4 and made the semi-final series that haven't been in the top 4 best defensive teams. The stat is so clear that if you are not a good defensive team, you're not going to be playing finals and contending for a championship. The NBL, you just have to be elite defensively.
I'm shaking my head because this sounds like 40 is talking. We hear this.
The numbers say it. Taj, the numbers say it.
I'm telling you, he's a numbers guy. We hear this non-stop.
And that magic number, I think the magic number is 80. There's a couple of teams that allow teams to score about 84, 85, and then everyone has been around 80, 80 and a half, and then below. So that is the magic number in a game.
Championships.
Here's Adams for 3. Not quite.
He's still trying to just get his feet back in.
Pass. Great.
Travers with the quarterback pass.
Uh-oh.
Hook Porty finishes it off.
That's a great catch, too, in traffic.
The long ball from Luke Travers to the big fella. And Melbourne United back in front as we edge closer to half-time.
These are the things that, like you said, the coaches aren't going to be happy about. It's 54, 55, 54, and those type of dunks and outlets are the reason why it's extra 15, 20 points on the board instead of making them work. So those are the things that you got to correct if you want a championship, and those two teams would most likely be fighting or a chance for win a championship or the playoffs.
We call that a great business decision from Jalen Adams too. There's just no need for you to do anything other than just walk away. But Harry Hawkporty needs to realise we've still got 4 games to go here, and we need those rims. So if you just flush it like Carmelo Anthony used to do, that's great. We need to keep those rims up and intact.
Yeah, no damage to the apparatus would be nice. If you're drawing up a play here to go into half-time, Tajir,
yes,
23 seconds to work with.
Yes,
Put your coaching hat on.
Yes, sir.
What are you going for?
For me, I'm honest. Of course, the last shot. So I want to go around 6, 5, 7, around that area. For me, if I was the coach, I would want Jalen with the ball. I don't think I would want a screen. I don't want to bring Luke involved. I think his size, it would bother him a lot. But I trust him with the ball, and I trust him to make the play. But whatever he does, I want him to get the last shot. So maybe a little misdirection around 10 or 11 just to get the defense moving so it's not so stagnant. But at the end of the shot clock, I want him with the ball making the play. But this is a good track to try to speed him up.
Well, that and get the ball out of Jalen Adams' hands too. Well, he gets it back now.
That's 8 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, it was too.
Let's see what he can do with it. Passes to Tui.
Good shot.
It's hard, that exact possession, because you think if you're Alex Tui, this is a great looking
That's
shot.
what I'm saying.
But you give Melbourne a chance here.
Yes. So what do you do in that situation? But he made it, so you take it every time.
Oh, Dellavedova with a beautiful finish going up and under with the reverse.
I know.
Jalen Adams looking over at the bench.
Jalen Adams saying that he likes that. That's just tough from Delhi. And again, it's an unfortunate position for Alex Tui. You knock down the 3, but you've gone early. And again, you probably in hindsight, 9 times out of 10, you say if you get a wide open look that's presented itself early, you've still got to step in and take it with confidence.
As a coach, I'm saying the opposite.
For real?
Yes, because I would rather hold for the last shot and not score. Then now they have the momentum going into halftime, them coming back and getting a chance to score again. I think since he made it, of course, it's the right decision. It's always the right decision when you make it, so I'm clapping and saying good shot. But I think I would rather just get the last shot and kind of we stay with the momentum on what happens in the last quarter, unless he makes that.
Well, the flip side is that you don't take that shot and then you don't end up getting a good look. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. It is half-time here with United with that a 1-point buffer, and this has been exciting.
It's been a great opening half here on night 5 of the NBL Blitz. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley, Tajir McCall, 58-57 at the main change. We'll be back with some highlights and to break down that opening half very shortly. Great to have you with us on KO Freebies. A real ripper to round out night 5 of the NBL Blitz.
Our game is made for moments. We stop at nothing, on or off the court, here and abroad. Every fan,
Incredible!
every game,
You've got to be kidding me!
every experience. From game-winning buzzer beaters to posterizing dunks. The immeasurable passion and fierce rivalries. Every legacy, every team, and the strive for greatness. No matter the moment, it all matters to us. Hungry Jacks NBL. Every moment matters.
Supercoach NBL is here! You've never seen fantasy basketball like this. Stop dribbling, start playing. Play the official fantasy NBL game at supercoach.com.au.
Don't miss a moment of NBL action. On the court, away from the court, exclusive access, player interviews, free agency moves, next stars, and much more. The NBL's YouTube channel is your one-stop shop for all things NBL 24. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to find out all the latest news as it happens. Search NBL on YouTube to get watching.
Time here at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. Melbourne United 57, the Sydney Kings 58-57. Melbourne United lead the Sydney Kings. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, Tajir McCall. It's been an entertaining first half. Some of the youngsters getting involved. Pete, Alex Tui with a good first half. Couple of deep threes from Chris Golding. Bit of chip, bit of spice in this one.
No, a lot of mayonnaise too. Just a little. There's just no need. It's just a bit of extra stuff, a bit of extracurricular, but that's what we expect between these two teams. You heard Luke Longley talk about it. There's always going to be a little bit more to it. But Alex Tui, outstanding first half. He's been enormous. And Travis, 10 points. He's done so much more than that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And as you said, Taj, is exactly what makes him such a valuable piece to have. And in the end, defensively, I think it's been disappointing for both teams based on what they want to do and what level they're usually at. I don't think they'll be too happy with that.
But I promise you, take my word for them. We'll see how it holds up at the end of the game. But I guarantee the game slows down and the point slows down, and it won't be that type of score towards this third, especially the fourth quarter, especially with these two winning mindsets and winning caliber teams.
I think your game earlier today was 34-30 at quarter time, ended up 109-95, but that second quarter was noticeably different in terms of tempo to the first.
Yes, and especially with now you get a feel, and now you're probably getting cursed out in there, you know, and it's like you want to make a statement. Like you said, defense wins the championships, and I know they're disappointed in how they're playing defense and the easy looks that everyone is getting. So I'm expecting it to be a defensive second half.
It's a nice little crowd here too.
Yeah.
On Wednesday night, we talked about Luke Longley, Andrew Bogut here sitting front row, Jordan Lawley, who was on the broadcast earlier. Jordan Lawley's wearing the Pandas. Now, no, don't me, Ty. The Pandas are the worst shoe out there. Everybody has the Pandas.
But why does that make them? That makes them the best shoe.
No, that makes
everybody
them awful.
Wouldn't buy the worst shoe.
Would they? That makes them awful.
Why would everybody buy the worst shoe?
Well, I don't. I purposely went and.
Me too. I don't have a pair.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't. But I'm saying it's a reason they're the most bought shoe. They go with everything. They look stylish.
No,
you can dress them up. You can wear them casual.
J-Law's too big of a deal to be rocking the Pandas.
Okay, now that might be true.
You're going to have to explain this to me.
The dunks, the Nike dunks.
Oh, right.
The black and white
ones. They're the Pandas. And,
all right.
And
I'm with you.
I like him. He said, you're going to have to explain this to me. I'm out of all that.
You'll notice they're everywhere. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's a pair right there next to you in front row.
Yep. All right.
Yep. Yeah, every 1 in 4 people probably have a pair of Pandas by now.
There you go. 58-57. I'm going to Google some Pandas.
Just don't buy them so he doesn't get mad.
I won't be procuring any. We've got a big second half coming up not too far away. Our third game of the day, Tajir's Taipans winners earlier today. Illawarra getting the job done over Brisbane. Of course, another big day tomorrow. Tassie and Adelaide kicking things off. Perth and New Zealand. on the penultimate day of this NBL Blitz. Illawarra and Cairns finishing off on Friday with Sydney and Brisbane still to come as well. Melbourne United coming out, getting ready for the second half. They lead by 1, a short break. We'll be back with all the second half action in a moment.
LaMelo Ball, Josh Giddey, Usman Jeng. The NBL's Next Stars program has become an elite pathway to the NBA. But who's got next in NBL 24? Hook Porty, Flowers, Johnson, Clintman, Rubstavicius, Saar, Tui, Zakarski. Who will shine brightest? Find out more at nbl.com.au/nextstars.
If you like good weather, good food, good vibes, it's everything all in one.
First shot gotta go in. Camera doesn't know where the ball went. Would they say I'm a good golfer? I'd say I'm better than the average person, but I'm not a good golfer. There's never not anything to do. Like, we got Top Golf here, there's Movie World right across the road, plenty of beaches in the Gold Coast, unlimited restaurants. The Gold Coast is super nice and you can't really complain about anything out here. And there's a heat check right here. Bow! There it goes, right there, side by side.
About to get set for a second half here. Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, Tajir McCall with you. Melbourne United up 58-57 earlier today. The Cairns Taipans 100 defeated the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix 95. Brisbane going down to Illawarra. Aaron Baines with 20 and 20 in a big performance. And Lockie Olbrich getting things done for the Hawks. On your game, Taj.
Yes, sir.
Down by 8 in that third quarter.
Yes, sir.
Led by 8 at halftime. Southeast Melbourne flipped the script. Your late game execution from the likes of Patrick Miller. How pleased were you with what you saw in that regard?
Oh, man. So he knew he needed to do that because I gave him so much trash for the first game. We had another close game, but I just think he was trying to feel his rhythm and get everyone involved. And I'm like, we need you to be the guy you are. You know, he's played at such a high level, and I've known him for a while, and I know the type of person he is and the type of leader he is. So today was just a glimpse of what he can do for us and how he can lead us. But he knows how to win. He knows how to get people where they need to be and how to put the ball in the basket. And so him doing that just shows what we can have in the fourth quarter, and especially when me and Bull get back, it's a lot to look forward to.
The dunk that he threw down, that was nice.
Yeah, I know, and I've been telling him he's getting younger by the day now because he's the oldest guy. We call him Pop on the team, but he looked young today, and I love when he do that. It gets me fired up, and it gets the team fired up, and we're so close of a team. We get so excited when someone else has a good moment. So I just love being on this team.
Tell us a little bit about Bobby Clintman, of course, the Swedish next star. He was terrific today,
yes.
Really aggressive,
yes,
got to the
yes,
rim.
Yes.
What do you like about his game and his approach?
He's so diverse. Like, he passes like a guard, but the size of a big, but can go to the rim like a slasher. And his willingness and his humbleness to learn and to listen and to stay with it and to be unselfish. And mark my words.
Too.
Say it again.
He's a great character.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
By the middle of the season, end of the season, you're going to see a complete jump in from where he is now to where he's going to be. He's going to surprise a lot of people. Well, not me, but a lot of people. And he's going to be an important piece for us.
How important is it for young guys, obviously next stars for sure, but young guys coming into the league to understand that you may have a slow start adjusting to this, but after 28 games of playing your first professional career in a season in the NBL, you will be a vastly different player if you stick to the process.
It's not young guys, it's everyone. I done seen people come from the NBA and come over here and have an adjustment period where you're going to go through ups and downs, but the difference is people that's been around know that and they know how to deal with it and stick with it. So young guys don't know that because they've been good for so long or they've been the man for so long. So that's what I've been trying to tell Bob is you're going to have ups and downs, but it's not your game that's up and down. It's just you have to adjust to a new thing. That's all it is. You can't be prepared for something you've never been around. And so just having someone around you to tell you that, or a coach, and having that confidence to stay with it and be positive at all moments and be selfless will help you a lot.
Joel, we've got about a minute 20 before the start of the third quarter, and I've spoke to Tash about this a little bit, and you seem vibrant now. You talk about characters. You are always the positivity.
You got me blushing.
But you're about to get really tired soon, my friend. He's about to be a dad.
Oh, hello.
Once the season starts to kick off, how are you feeling, man? Is the thought of that just give you the chills?
Excited. It's like I told you, it's exciting right now because she's not here yet. But like you said, when I'm tired and grumpy in the morning, but from even the people, everyone I've heard that has kids, it's like you don't have a bad day. Like, you might have a bad game, but you come home and everything makes sense. So I'm looking forward to just being able to get myself outside of, like I said, everything I love is basketball. I'm so directed in basketball, but having something to kind of humble me and take me outside of the game and have another love and another joy it's exciting, and like you said, it gives me goosebumps.
I've got 3 pieces of advice for you.
Yes, sir.
As a father of a
I might need to get my pen.
Firstly, if you ever go on a family vacation, make it longer than 5 days because the amount of stuff you have to bring. I brought them up. My family came up today for 4 days, and the hotel room is flooded with I'm on nappies, and I'm like, this is just not worth it for 4 days. Second one is don't take anyone's advice.
Okay, because everyone's is different.
Everyone's different. And third, just be prepared for chaos.
Yes.
Like, it is just the most beautiful, chaotic thing in the world. Oh, and number 4, just don't take anyone's advice.
Okay.
I'm excited for you, man, because again, I had a great chat with a good friend of yours and our teammate Patrick Miller as well.
Yes.
And he's excited for you.
Yes.
He's obviously a dad of 3 kids as well, and
he's been
it's going to
preparing
change
me.
a lot.
I've been watching him for a little bit.
Once you get your routine going and the sleep and stuff, I think we're going to see it even better to Jim McCall, which is hard to believe.
Let's do it. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You've had a long and successful professional career this year. Have you ever had someone give you advice that is don't listen to advice?
It's good advice.
Yes, today. And now I heard it twice, so yes, twice.
Galloway to start off this second half nicely.
I might have been wrong. They're scoring already.
Well, from a neutral perspective, we hope so. We hope this just continues. We'll get used to that sitting in this position that, with your coaching hat on, you want games to slow down, but not when you're here. Valentine takes it all the way in, can't get it to go. Dellavedova's back the other way.
Good pass.
Travers. Dellavedova outside now, Illy.
That's a
beautiful move, high off the window.
He gets to his right hand, and it's pretty hard to stop him. Right hand strong, he's pretty hard to stop.
Jalen Adams. Just the 2 points in the
Oh
first
my-
half.
Oh,
body takes a body.
Yes, sir.
And almost on the other end.
Yeah, that'd be a Sports Center top 10. I knew that for a fact.
Absolute thievery.
Telling you.
He just blocked that with his
Look
belly button.
Look at his face, though. I wish they put his face next to the clip.
But you could see it coming. You could see it coming from
Golding set him up.
Hook 40, and again, it's a bit of a blessing if you are CG. That just knowing if I get burnt, well, I've got Ariel coming across, and even the draft scouts got up a little bit about their seat. The 2 hands just caught it midair.
When I see him, I'm passing it to the opposite team probably. I'm doing something other than shooting it with him.
Again, I think that's exactly what Dean Vickman wants from you. You want, no matter what happens, if you're in a position to contest it, go and do it, because either you might get the occasional foul, but you might not every single time block it, but you're going to alter a lot of shots.
Yes,
Someone's
sir.
going to have to throw it right up there with a floater just to get over that athleticism.
And you start to think about it because now you know he's jumping. Like now you think about, should I shoot this layup or should I just dribble it out?
Adams back the other way, gets a little floater to go.
I think he'll pick up his pace too this second half. This is his first game back, I think, too. So he probably got his second win now.
A little bit of illness earlier in the week for Jalen Adams, but good to see him back. Of course, former league MVP in their championship season, the first of the back-to-back championships for the Sydney Kings.
In fact, that was my teammate too. We played summer league together in G League a little bit against each other. So really good player, really good player.
And he's super chilled all the time.
All the time.
Like, you think, okay, he just looks unassuming. He's just going through the motions. But that is how he lives his life. He never seems like he's locked in.
If I see him hype, I probably would be worried, like,
What's
what
wrong
happened
with
to
you?
me? Yes, what happened?
Porty and Golding, little two-man game. CG from outside. Illy will track down the rebound. And Dellavedova steps into one.
So if you watch Shea Illy, every time he crashes for the rebound, he goes through the elbow. That's such an educated play.
And from Dellavedova on the other end to draw the charge. Just trapping the decent defense. Galloway was open in the corner. Quatnoy coming downhill with a head of steam.
I'm going to give you to the end of the third quarter to think about this, Taj, and then give me an answer. Taking off the main 3-4 guys in every team across the league.
Yes, sir.
I want you to tell me one player that you would love to recruit to play on your team and why. Not one of the superstars, a role player.
I know my answer already.
Already?
Yeah, Luke.
Luke Travers?
No, Porty. If you count him as a top 3 or 4 guy, I don't know. It depends on how you count, because when JLA come back, I figure he comes off the bench. So I think that would be
fair.
my guy. But I would think of another one. I think of one that's a sleeper. Give me to the end of the third.
Valentine on Dellavedova. Played with some NBA experience.
Delhi barking for a carry. Talk about guys smelling blood.
Golding comes flying across.
That's a great extra.
That's still going to be on the positive film.
That's a great extra.
The entire Kings bench was up and about because that extra pass. Denzel Valentine's here. He wants to come in and have an outstanding season and get back to the NBA. And you make that unselfish pass. That's what's going to help this Sydney Kings team contend for a title.
And it just helps your teammate bonds and trust each other.
Golding puts United through to the good. Illy's back the other way.
for
Golding's in the corner. Another one. Yep.
See that coming from a mile away. See that coming. Shea Illy knew he just had to give Chris Golding just a split second. He hit one from that spot, and even if it was going to be heavily contested, that thing was going down.
Golding's
17
up to
points.
At 17, he was scoreless in their first game.
And this is what he does. If you look back at all his past preseason and blitz opportunities, he coasts in the first one, starts to turn it up a little bit in the second one, but this is their last hit out before playing the real thing against Southeast Melbourne next Thursday. So he's starting to really lock in. Certain guys have the ability to flick a switch when it matters most. Not everybody. He's one. Jalen Adams might be another, but there's not too many guys who can just pick and choose when they want to turn the lights on.
I agree. And that comes with playing for so long and playing at a high level for so long and putting so many reps in that now is honestly just whether or not you try or not.
Understands his game so well. Chris Golding, so much experience that he brings to this Melbourne United team as captain. Travers backing his way inside. Absorbs a little bit of contact and can't get it to go. Melbourne's had an interesting pre-season too, in the sense that they played 4 games before they came to the Blitz. So they played Cal Baptist, not their whole squad. They played twice in Tassie, then they played Southeast Melbourne, and then they came up to the Blitz. So they've had a bit longer pre-season, which is probably pretty typical of a Dean Vickerman preparation, where they play a few more games in the lead-in. How would you sort of view that from an ideal preparation? Do you like to play more games, Taj, going into the season, or get to Blitz, get rolling, and then really find your feet?
Me as a player, I'm the complete opposite. Also because I play a lot of minutes and I'm playing throughout the whole season, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I would rather play less minutes and kind of have my body fresher at the end of the season. But their team is also deep and they play long too. So I think those reps and getting the young guys those reps to play important minutes and back, I think that's very important. So it just depends on how your team is wired and how your team is built. The deeper your team, I think the more you can play more games so everyone can get their rhythm. And then the shorter your team is and the shorter your rotation is, I think the less games you want to play, the less you want to wear people out in the preseason.
Ariel Porty's pumped after the finish. Give himself the and one.
Joel, back to that. It's something that Dean Vickerman does every year, because normally there's some sort of national duty for Melbourne United, and they've always had. So back in 2018, it was CG. We'd lose CG. We'd lose Barlow. We'd lose all these guys in the preseason. So the first 2 or 3 games, it's basically the end of the roster, DPs, and training players.
That's a great idea.
Yep. So it still gives us a chance to practice what everything's about, try to put in the offense and everything. And I think a lot of it is also, if there's a new offense or new pieces, at least the coaches look, how does that even just look with within our team. It's obviously not CG out there, but let's scrap that one, let's tweak this or whatever. And then this is the main thing with the squad.
And you don't really know until you see it against another team. Because in practice, everything looks a little bit better, a little bit crisper, you know what I mean? You're going against the same people over and over again. But now when you go against a different team with refs there, with contact, different athletes, different skill sets, it shows you what works and what doesn't work with our team. And that's a great unselfish pass. Golden could have easily shot that. He just made 2 in a row. I would have been happy if he shot that.
Tee that up.
But I think that's a good pass.
I was certain that was going up.
You got to tee that up.
Luke Travers at the line. Of course, making the move to Melbourne United this season. The West Aussie product.
First thing I asked him when I sat down with him for a chat a couple of days ago was, this feels weird. I said, this feels weird. Does it feel weird to you sitting in a blue jersey? And he smiled and said, it kind of does. I think everybody expected him to be wearing red for
He probably still is wearing red. In some people's eyes, it's going to take him a minute to change.
Red and then maroon of Cleveland potentially down the track. Sean Bruce just chucks that at the rim. 10-0 run for Melbourne United here to open up a third pass. Lovely dime from Delavanova inside to rolling Rob Lowe.
Timeout soon.
I thought we were going to get a timeout for sure.
Yeah, you have to.
Again, this is why you play the blitz as well. How do they dig themselves out of a hole without the coach's help?
Right. Put them under duress and see how your team handled duress.
There's no doubt this is a regular season game. Coach McLeod would have called a timeout probably a couple of possessions ago. He's trying to trust the guys out there, say, can you make a couple of plays?
Foul. That's a smart foul, not to give up the and one after the foul. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's exactly right. And again, this is maybe this is a part of that bonding thing with him and the leadership with Sean Bruce. Is just saying, Brucey, how do you slow this down? Stem the bleeding just slowly, and then you look at it all in film in the next couple of days.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. You kind of see who can step up and lead in those situations. And now when you get in real games, you know who your leaders are and who your followers are, because everyone has to play a role.
And it's funny because we always talk about the blitzes. We look at the players and their growth and who takes it serious, who wants to get the minutes and all of that. But we often do forget that this is for the coaches as well to see all this kind of stuff. Is, okay, do we have a team this year who can dig themselves out of holes without me having to help every single time?
Yes.
And that's what preseason games enable you to do.
And the coach is also learning this is his first time in the NBL, so he's also learning what these runs look like. How do I handle myself and my team in these runs, and what personalities? So it's a learning experience for everyone, and you test some things out and throw that out there, like you said, and see what sticks to the wall.
Cole Bowen out there now for United with Lowe, Illy, Golding, and Perrick and Flynn Cameron.
It's going to happen a lot, Joel.
Yep.
It's going to happen a lot.
Here is
Good
Cameron.
Good Shepherd. That's a great Shepherd screen. By Shepherd, I mean when the big man screens, his own man acts like he's posting up, and the guard uses him as a screen, and we call that a Shepherd.
So sound like you watch AFL footy.
40. A lot of
there
40
you go.
in me. A lot of 40 in me.
Golding from way downtown.
Well, he's
Walks
ready.
it off like it's nothing.
He's ready for next Thursday. He's ready to start this thing for real. He's not slowing down. He's going to be 35, just over a month, and he's coming off an unbelievable personal season. And I think it's hard to say he'd get better at his age again this year, but there's not as much pressure for him to score the ball like there was last year with that team.
I think he's going to be a lot better and a lot more motivated because Melbourne has such high expectations. And, of course, they finished the way that they would like to play, but the start wasn't the way they wanted to start. And so I know he's excited and looking forward to getting back to the type of basketball and the stature that Melbourne has. So a motivated Golden, I think, will be a great Golden for Melbourne, of course.
Since the opening score of the term that was a 3 for Sydney, it's been a 24-4 run for Melbourne United.
And with Melbourne, I think you can't go one-on-one with them because once they fill in the run, they play such unselfish basketball and such the right play basketball that you kind of got to slow the game down and at least get side to side just to get a good shot, just to slow the game down.
One who isn't out there tonight is your former teammate DJ Hogue, my favourite player. I love, apart from you.
Yeah, okay.
I love watching him. I just think he's so smooth.
Yes.
How does he fit with this Sydney team?
Oh, I'm telling you, as good as everyone think he was, I think he'll be even better this year. Just for the simple fact that his role will be a little bit, he'll have a little less to do, but more efficiently. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to carry as much of a burden because Sydney they probably go deeper into their bench, and he could play less minutes and kind of give it a lot more energy in those minutes. But his game is so effortless, and you can't stop him because the way he plays. So I think he's going to have a big, big year.
He is an NBA player.
Yes, 100%. NBA size, NBA length, NBA
one
teammate.
more strong season here, and
yes.
I think he was very close. I watched him closely in Summer League, and they were very high on him. Toronto in Summer League and a couple other teams, and he does that. What he did last year, or even just improved a little bit, I think he's going to be in the NBA.
And I think the underrated part and the part that he has to keep improving on is his on-ball defense and his awareness on defense. Of course, he gets blocks and he plays great defense, help side defense. But I think once he gets his awareness and keeps building on that, which will help again, I think you're absolutely right. An NBA talent for sure, and he will get there. I'm praying he does anyway.
I have a couple of big late game moments. You know that he takes over late in games like very few players in the competition can. Here's Bolden from outside again.
That's going to make the Kings really tough. If he's consistently knocking that down, because you saw they're trying to get Denzel Valentine play right now. We're not expecting Jalen Adams to play a heap of minutes coming off a sickness, and just you have to stretch the floor. If Jonah Bolden's knocking down the three ball like that, you have to stay a step closer to him because you're not going to block it. There's not many guys with the length to get out and block that, how high he shoots with his height. And all of a sudden, it opens the floor up for guys like Jalen Adams to get downhill.
A lot more space. And I think that's the substitute for Suarez this year. Suarez was that for him last year. And you kind of try to repeat the same things once you win. You know what I mean? The other teams have to kind of copy what you do or kind of match up to what you do. So I think replacing those type players is going to help them a lot. And I think he's a perfect fit.
Suarez played every game last year for the Kings. Jonah Bolden's 3 of 4 tonight for 11 points. It was great to hear Luke Longley say earlier when he joined us on the coverage that he's really enjoying being back in the professional basketball environment. Of course, spent some time away from the game entirely, did Jonah Bolden after his NBA stint, and now back with Sydney and really enjoying being part of things.
It is great, just great to see him out there hitting the three ball, having a smile. You're right, because I'm sure it'll be a bit of no doubt an adjustment, but just a bit of a shock to both the body and the mind to get back into. That's all he knew for so long. Professional basketball, obviously playing for Philadelphia as well, and then decide that you're going to step away from the game and to think, okay, I want to have a crack again, go straight back into where the NBL's come.
Yes. In a high-level league. But I think, like I said, going to Sydney will help him a lot because it can slow it down. He doesn't have to do as much.
Here's Valentine outside. One's a little bit strong.
The box outs this game has been very elite. Winning box outs.
Bolden hits the floor.
Oh, hello, Shea.
Illy, beautiful move. Just couldn't get the English off the window. Bruce ran into low. Those two have had one or two comings together tonight. Big Rob Lowe, the injury replacement player for United.
Speaking of great situations for everybody, Rob Lowe retired and coming off.
No, I was confused. I watched the game. I seen a whole retirement thing on NBL. I watched it. I said, and then I see him out there. I'm like, what happened?
He had a past relationship with Dean Vickerman in New Zealand, and then I think once they were trying to figure out once JLA was injured and we need a short-term injury replacement, not too many people are okay with saying that's what I want.
Yeah.
So they had to chat to him. And again, it's the perfect piece to space the floor that Hook Porty can't do.
Yes.
And he's the exact opposite. And he wanted to spend time with his family. They said it's going to be a few months, and he's bring your family over. And in the end, he's like, no problem. I'm fit and healthy. Let's do it.
Yes. And they take care of him, and he takes care of them. That's the way business should work. Everybody wins.
Plenty of experience as well. And Party gets a piece of that Alex Tui shot.
Good defense, too.
Adams knocks it loose. Here comes Tui back the other way.
Kellen Adams. Is he talking to you, or is he just talking to us after every bucket?
He's probably talking to me. Like we talk a lot. He's from Maryland, so it's kind of close to Philadelphia, so we kind of know each other for a little bit. But he might be talking to y'all. Y'all more popular than me, so it might be y'all.
And that neither of you went for the University of Maryland?
No. I didn't have that opportunity. I was lucky to go to the schools I did. So, yeah, I didn't start playing basketball until 11th grade, so I was a little late.
Your story is incredible for that and where you are now.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How often do you stop and think about your entire journey? And obviously you've been in Australia now, you fall in love with the place and loving Cairns and the NBL, but do you reflect on it often?
Honestly, it was probably only once that I reflected on, and that was when I made it to the NBA. It was kind of like I put it all into perspective that year after. But you have so many other goals and so many things to keep pushing and trying to achieve that it's hard to stop and kind of soak in moments and really think about it. But when I'm done, I'll put it all in perspective and probably it'll really hit me.
Porty with a block there as LT. Luke Travers locks down the 3-ball. Porty's only got 2 blocks. He's definitely had a couple more than that for sure. He's altered a lot more shots than that.
Unless they didn't credit him with a steal for the steal/block that he had.
Oh, right.
You
what
should
do
get
you count
both.
that at? I'm about to say, what do you count that at?
You should get
That's
both.
a good move.
Maybe should get 2 of each for the ferocity with which he stole that ball. And the Kings come up empty on another offensive possession. It's a 19-point Melbourne United lead, the biggest lead of the game. And here's Hook Porty operating on Angus Glover. Likes to look at the matchup. Little step back. He's done a little bit of everything tonight, and Bowen's there to finish it off.
That's a good finish. But I would like to let Luke kick it back out and then reseal and get a deeper post position. So now his move is at the rim instead of at the 3-point line. Great pass.
Yeah, you're right. He's trying to. We've seen him do that in his first year with MU. He's trying to work on that little fadeaway touch, but he doesn't need to do it. He's got too much size. If he just slows down, be patient, get to your spot where you've got that right hand or left hand hook, because once he gets up in the air, no one's blocking that.
Yes, sir. And the closer you get to the basket, the easier the game gets for him.
8-second difference, shot and game clock. Hook Porty gets it out to Krebs on the drive. Got fouled on the way through. Krebs will step to the line.
Shot clock helped him there. Had to throw it up, which meant that it was funky and got fouled.
If I'm a player on Sydney, I'm probably trying to, if I'm on the bench, I'm probably trying to get a little bit of energy going. Somebody talk, somebody give something a little extra, you know what I mean, just so we can pick ourselves up, because it kind of looks like the energy is gone.
Melbourne United doing no harm in their quest for winning the NBL Blitz. Strong third quarter here.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Do you know the record of teams that won the Blitz? How often
they win the title?
Not even the title, make the playoffs. Let's do because to win the title is kind of hard. That comes down to a lot of things. But make the playoffs or win the title, whichever one you know.
I don't know either, but
okay.
the title one, it's completely irrelevant. But I think playoffs, and you can't just base it on last year.
No.
I think it doesn't mean it hasn't translated correlated well at all.
But I just want to know how that does work. Like if it's an opposite effect or if it has nothing to do with it. Like you can do both. You cannot be good in the Blitz and make the playoffs.
We'll have to look up the last time.
I want to know how that correlates.
So three-quarter time, 94-76. Melbourne United lead the Sydney Kings. Joel Peterson, Pete Hawley, Tajir McCall from the Cairns Taipans with you. Final game of day 5 here on the Gold Coast. Melbourne United opening up a real advantage in that quarter. It was 1 point the difference at half-time, and it is now 18. It got to as many as 19 in that half. Day off for you tomorrow, Taj. So what do you do with yourself?
Not a day off for us. 40 doesn't believe in them. So
day off from game day.
Yeah, okay. We have practice, weights, promos. It's always something to do when this is your job. But I'm probably going to go to the pool for a little bit.
Yep.
Get something great to eat. That's my joy of the.
All right. What are we talking?
World.
What are we talking? What's the go-to meal if you can have anything?
No go-to.
Just anything.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as it's high quality and high level food,
yep,
I'm for it. So my dream job is to travel and stay at the best hotels and try all the restaurant foods, and that would be something if I could pick a job.
Can you write? Sounds terrible.
Yes,
right?
I love writing.
You got to be a critic, or not even a critic.
Yes.
Why don't you just make a blog type thing?
Yes, but then I got to pay for it if it's a blog. I don't want to have to pay for my travel and stuff.
We're talking to an elite professional NBL player.
I don't want to have that.
So we need to find you a blog sponsor.
Yes, please. Okay. That would be my dream job to go. I'm talking about I've tried squid, octopus.
Taj,
I want to try snail.
I see it already. Taj's tapas.
I'm telling you. And you can come with me, be a special guest. I got it all planned out. Let's do it.
I'll host the pod.
Yes, please.
I like that.
But yes.
I did notice Sam Wardenberg's player sponsor is, I think, an Italian steakhouse up in Cairns. You got to get hooked up with.
I know. Sam didn't see, people was keeping secrets. I don't like that. I'm glad I met you. Now I got a little dirt on my teammates because I did not know that.
As it stands, Joel, Melbourne United won 2 quarters here, which will put them at 13 total points on the Blitz ladder. winning 2 quarters. They lost the second quarter. If they win this game, which it looks like they will right now.
Get another 3.
Another 3, and a 4th one for this quarter as well.
Yes.
So that'll put them pretty much having it sewn up unless Perth or Tassie. I don't know if they'd have to go really close to winning every quarter.
Who does Perth and Tassie have left?
Tassie, you've got Adelaide, and Perth has got New Zealand. Both of those games are tomorrow.
The way we've seen Adelaide the first 2 games, we are not going to put out anything early if Melbourne United manage to win this game and win this quarter.
Plead the fifth.
Adelaide may not have any players left at this rate.
It's been a big day, and again, it's been the news has broke or has been leaking out. It's been unsurprising that something has got to give based on what happened last season. And just looked, I called the game last night, just so unhappy. And that's not what you want to see as a fan, but that's not what you want to see as a player and as a coach. So the season starts next week. There's no time to. Oh, don't be ridiculous. Oh. Again, I think it's something had to give, and I think something will give. And again, I hope it gives them everybody a fresh start going into next week.
I was about to say, and it's so hard because who do you really blame? Because, like you said, it's so many different pieces and different moving pieces that it's hard to pinpoint what it is or is it collective effort. So you just hope they get it together because the league needs them, and they'll be good for the league, and it's a good city. So
and I think that after a couple of things this week. I'm sure some conversations as the team will have. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of player-led meetings, which I know Cairns have done in the past when things haven't gone right. And again, mate, that's all you need is to go forward and come out with a different mindset. And yes, some of the X's and O's hasn't been great, but it has been that body language, which is controllable. If that mindset changes, everything's going to change, and it's going to come with a positive effect in return for that.
And that's all it takes is for one to change it and then for everyone else to follow.
Yep.
So it can change. It's not like it can't change, but someone just has to take that initiative.
It's a great sports-mad city, Adelaide, and when the 36ers are up and running, gee, they get the entertainment centre going.
And as an Adelaide boy, Jalen Galloway tees one up from the corner, whose Crows missed out on an absolute farcical goal umpiring decision. And
we've only got 8.5 minutes left in the game, Pete. We don't have time for that.
We would have won the premiership this year had we snuck in. We'll want to see that.
I still have yet to...
Oh, Porty on the lob with some real venom.
Great pass. I still have yet to get to an AFL game.
They take a couple up to Cairns.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see rugby. Here. I have yet to be into any of those games. I have to see that live in action because
do you enjoy watching it?
It's amazing.
Do you have a team?
No, I don't have a team, so I haven't tapped into it the way I should. But just the athletes and the way they collide and the science behind it, I want to experience the fans, the way they treat it. I need to experience that atmosphere.
Just don't do what Bryce Cotton did.
What did he do?
He's out in Perth, and for some reason is a Collingwood Magpies fan. And since he decided that he liked Collingwood, they've been very good. So
is that bad or good?
I mean, that's called a bandwagon.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to jump onto a bandwagon.
I didn't put 2 to 2 together. I have to ask him about that. I'm sure he'll have a different story about that.
He does have a reason for it.
Okay, I'm about to say. I'm sure he'll have a different story.
There you go. So, Magpies fan in Perth. That's dangerous territory.
It's a funny story how it all came about for him.
That sounds like being a Lakers fan in Boston or something like that.
Yeah. Well, anywhere actually. Unless you're a Collingwood fan, everyone hates you.
Oh, okay.
That's how it's
okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good to know. Don't think I'll cheer for them.
The Brisbane Lions wouldn't be a bad one. They could win it this year. So if you're going to jump onto Brisbane, you've got to do it before the grand final.
Okay.
So you've got probably the first game's in a couple of days, the prelim. You've got 2 days maybe to jump on Brisbane. It's close to Cairns.
I'm not a bandwagoner. I like the underdog.
I'll get you a couple tickets.
Oh, now if we talking that now, I told you anything for the free, I might be with.
Well, you get double dip because they're AFLW teams right in the thick of things as well. So you could potentially have 2 flags if you pick up Brisbane as a team to support.
I actually decided to get my, I hope he's okay.
Yeah,
just came across
Malawatch, who's down behind the
Hook Porty. There was nothing malicious in it.
No.
He was obviously, we've seen him, he's going to test everything, but I think he might have copped him right with the elbow. And if it is the elbow flush across the head, it's...
Yes. And in a game like this, you know what I mean, you don't want to stay out there and risk anything.
You can see him holding it looks like his cheekbone, even eye socket region.
It's good that he's okay.
He's back up and sitting up
definitely his cheekbone.
Crotch Malawatch.
But as I was saying, I went to Melbourne to get my tattoo. And the weekend I decided to go is the grand finals.
Oh, it's chaos,
packed,
man.
expensive.
Chaos.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to have a look at this right now. Vaughan Mayberry, Jackie Dover, just because the initial part was fine, but it's that afterwards where they deem as just unnecessary.
Above the neck, yep.
Because it got him above the neck. You're exactly right. The first part was okay, but anytime you're going to come down and continue that motion, it's going to get looked at. Scott Butler's over there as well, having a look at the monitor.
And when a player kind of is down for a little bit of time, you know what I mean? You have to kind of try to protect that and take that for what it is. Although, like you said, it was nothing intentional or malicious about it.
You can also tell, like, Will Cordy's not a type of player who's ever going to do anything.
Yes,
He's trying to talk things to Scott Butler now. So. And it's unsportsmanlike. It's just got upgraded from Vaughan Mayberry. And to be honest, we saw the replay there. That baseline angle kind of showed it. That little extra bit at the end.
Yes. And I don't know if you've seen it, but Glover, I think, just told Luke, he didn't mean anything by it. You know what I mean? So that's big on his part. Yeah, that's big on his part. You know, you want to see good basketball, and teammates recognizing that is always big.
Of course, Angus Glover coming off that heroic performance in Game 5 of the Grand Final Series last year.
And for that overall, we always look at the unsportsmanlike and everything gets reviewed, the replay centre and the challenges. I'm okay with that being an unsportsmanlike foul. A lot of people are saying, look, he's just trying to block it. But I think we're as a sport, and especially the AFL, but everywhere, we're so focused, we need to be protecting the head.
Yes, I agree.
So if you have a bit of an extra part of it and you do get somebody in the head and it does come off second best, I'm okay with that being unsportsmanlike.
So can I ask you a question? If you feel like that, so tell me if it's a 2-point game, 3-point game.
Well, it's got to be consistent. So if it is now, it is then.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
It's just got to be that way. That if you make that second, and it was the second motion that they were looking at, we saw.
I agree.
He went up, and then once he'd come down, there's a little bit extra.
Yes.
That second motion, if that's what it's deemed to be unsportsmanlike, no matter when the game is, it's going to be the same thing.
And I can live with that because now you know the guidelines.
Right.
But I think sometimes that's the gray area where now it's not called, and now what do you get away with, or when do you deem it that it shouldn't be called or it should be called?
It's hard because you look at a regular foul. Great pass there as Jordy Hunter has had two. Has he had two shafted at 4 moments? I told you there was going to be another one.
I got to stay away from that. I got to stay away from that.
But regular fouls, we're trying to see those highlight plays of the rim, and if there's a little bit of contact, you talk about. I'm okay with those being let go in big moments.
Yes,
I think, and it's again, that's just us putting so much on the referee's plate to figure out what is what in the big moments. It's not an easy job to do.
Their job is so hard, so hard. And I've learned that and learned that they're humans too, because that job I couldn't imagine trying to do that.
Did you just see the strength of Isaac Gatorna? Hook Porty was trying to back him down. He was going nowhere.
Glover with the outlet pass. Still an 18-point lead for United.
But that's where Luke gotta know who's guarding him, and now you might want to face up and try to use your speed to get past him instead of your strength. I know you're taller, but you got to use your advantages and play the game inside the game. Who's guarding me? What are their strengths? What do they like to do? He likes to be physical. He likes to bump. So now you're playing into his element. You want to try to take him out of his element.
Got a trip coming up over to the US.
Yes,
yes. You play Washington, you play Toronto, so you're up the eastern seaboard. Do you get a chance to spend some time around home, or?
So that's when my baby is due. So yeah, I'll be home for a little bit, be around the kid. My family is coming to DC. It's like an hour train ride. So I got a lot of people coming to DC. This is their first time probably seeing me play in some years now. So I'm pretty excited and looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun trip.
Challenge and a great opportunity for the club, for the organisation as well, to showcase on a big stage.
Oh my! And show what Australia is about. Last year, you seen one team got a win. Adelaide, my guys, Robin, AC, and Adelaide, they got a win. But just to show America, because a lot of people doesn't know how good Australia is and the different aspects Australia basketball and Australia in general has. And so now, you know, you Google cans. Once you see us play, hopefully we play well, and you like, who is those guys playing well? And so it's just good for the league and definitely for the city of Cairns. They deserve it, and they'll make the most out of it, and we'll make the most out of it for them.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to give you a chance to think about it.
I know. Go ahead.
What are the chances? You can just say yes or no. What are the chances that the future holds for Tajir McCall as an Australian citizen?
Oh, I wish high.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wish 100%.
So you're very happy to stay here?
I'd do it right now if I could. Yeah, I wish right now.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, we've seen that
I love
all over the country. I think we're happy to have you here and involved, and obviously
if that's the case, I just, that's crazy. I asked 40 about that, but I would love to. That's high on my list, like number one.
We love that.
Yes.
It says a lot about obviously the league, but the country as a whole.
Yes, and the people in the country and the people in the league, and the league is only going to get better, so it's only going to make me better. But that would be
How old are you?
29.
Still
Just
a young
turned 29,
buck.
August
Just a
17th.
young
Oh,
buck.
I like to hear that. I like to hear that. I feel younger already.
Well, I say that. Wait till that first baby comes.
I know.
You're going to feel 39.
No, 40 teases me every day now. As soon as I know that I was having a baby, I'm telling you, my bones start getting older. It takes me longer to get warmed up.
Yep.
It just happens so fast. And that's what I'm telling Bobby and Sam Meninga and Taryn. I'm like,
enjoy it now.
And you hear it,
Yep.
and you don't understand it until it's 5 and 6 years later, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell them it happens, and they kind of trust me and listen to me, so they kind of understand and get it, and I hope they take it for what it is and enjoy their youth.
Does having their youth on the team bring a bit of a different energy to things?
Yes. Oh, man. I can't tell you. These guys, nothing against her, but just different eras. They keep screaming out ski and listening to Sexy Red. I don't know if y'all know who that is at home, but it's just it's a whole different era. And, you know, you learn so much from the guys, and it's hard keeping up with them. And then you try to incorporate your era with them, and they don't know what you're talking about, and you don't know what. So it teaches you, and it helps you learn and grow. But it also keeps you young and keeps you youthful, and keeps you learning and wanting to be better. So I appreciate the guys that we have, and I learned so much from them, and I'm starting to love them already.
As a leader, and having spoken to her, it's Krebs going for a big hammer.
Never once had that at Krebs. Once he took off, that ball fell to his elbow.
Doesn't quite get it to go. As a leader, do you need someone that kind of bridges between yourself and that really young generation, or are you just in constant conversation with them?
Yeah, I'm a people's person, so it doesn't matter what age I'm talking about. Infants I get along with, you know what I mean?
Well,
so,
hopefully.
Yeah, right, exactly. But and the guys we have are like amazing, so it makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more fluent learning each other and understanding each other's stories. So there's no one you need to bridge that gap.
Good position to be in.
Has 40 told you his summer league story about being the only person ever in the history to get Greg Popovich to take a photo?
He has a photo with Greg?
No, so you know that phone's obviously around San Antonio, and I heard some other stories of how, not feared, but how like when Pop walks in, everybody's just like.
You know who Pop? Yes. 100%.
So much so that there's apparently there in Greg Popovich's in the training facility, there's an office and there's a toilet at the end of the hallway. No one now uses that because of an incident that happened a few years ago with I don't know if it was an assistant coach or a grad assistant or something, but yeah, apparently 40 tells a story. You have to ask him that he managed to get Pop to take a photo for him, and then
for him. That's even crazy.
Exactly right.
I like being on this broadcast. I'm learning a lot of stuff. I love this. But yeah, I have to ask that, and I'm gonna come back to you and let you know how that goes. Because knowing him, he'll probably give me a dramatic version of that story. It's a very
entertaining story.
His stories have a lot of juice to it.
Here's Cameron in the corner. Things have just slowed down for both of these teams. They've only had 6 points scored between the two of them in over half. Game time is low. Affects that shot to a great extent.
You've noticed, I mean, Jacob Chance, the coach tonight for Melbourne United, and he's obviously up and in, but if you're watching the Sydney Kings, if you're a Sydney Kings fan and just watching as Luke Travis gets a 20-piece nugget on the night, Coach Mahmoud, how calm he is on the sideline, and you're thinking, it's the preseason, but this is the way that he is. The way that he coaches is so unique, and there's the conversation he's having right now with Denzel Valentine. You might think, he probably doesn't have that side where he needs to rev up. Oh, absolutely he does, but just the type of person that he is and the way, and his aura, I will say. I spoke to, that's why Luke Longley said they're so happy to have him. Huge future ahead for him personally in the Kings this season.
And it makes you listen more. When you have different style coaches that relate to different players, but when you're the same way all the time, now I can accept what you say because I know it's not emotion behind what you say. You're doing it because you want me to be better. You want us to be better. So now when you say something, I can listen to you. When you have that calmness and that aura about you, I want to listen to you. So like you said, it's the preseason, but I'm telling you, it'll pick up over the year, especially as you get closer as a team and as you get closer as a family. And you'll see how he probably doesn't have to say anything. He looks, but you know exactly what he's thinking because that's his personality and you learn him.
Chris Golding's got 20 for United. He's 6 of 12 from downtown. Luke Travers with 21 points. He's got 7 rebounds as well, Travers. Porty's got 15, 7 rebounds and assists. He's only been credited with 1 block, which I find absolutely hard to believe.
I think he has a minimum of 5.
I think the stats bench has been credited with a couple of steals on that one. Denzel Valentine's got 11 for the Kings. Alex Tui coming off the bench, 17. Had a really hot opening quarter with 10 points. 5 of 9 shooting from the next star. 2 assists, 2 rebounds for him. And Jonah Bolden with 11, including 3 of 4 from downtown as Tui goes straight back to work.
And we're going to continue to talk about the next stars this year, as we should, because the crop is unbelievable. But the actual next NBA wave that's coming through, Jalen Galloway, Taron Armstrong, these guys that aren't next stars, to add to that list, the eyes are going to be all over every single game throughout NBL 24.
And that helps because now everyone plays harder. You know, everyone says it doesn't matter, but when you have scouts watching and you have people watching, it brings your game up a notch and it makes you want to play to a higher level. So it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be amazing for the NBL because also the development of those guys takes up a notch when you have so many of them and so many coming through. The league eyes is on it. It's going to be a great year, I think.
Look, Porty on the exercise bike, getting ready to check back into the game.
This game's all but done.
Got to get that win back for that regular season.
16-point
no doubt.
lead.
I don't expect to see Chris Golding or Shea Illy or Delhi anymore. Ian Clark still obviously not suiting up in this one.
17 minutes for Delhi, so 8 points. Of course, he had both games in the 20s earlier in this NBL Blitz. 28 in game 1, 20 in game 2, 4 of 8 from downtown in that second.
And this is where it comes into play. We talk about quarters 1 and winning the Blitz, and does it correlate? Probably not. But right now, Melbourne United are down 4 in the 4th quarter. So, as we said, Tassie play Adelaide tomorrow. They get a clean sweep or go close to like how Melbourne have played tonight, then they'll be competing for the title with NBL Blitz as well.
And I wonder how much, as a coach, if you do win the title, how much do you celebrate that? You know what I mean? Because it's always an achievement when you win. But how much do you put emphasis on we just did that, or how much do you put on it doesn't mean too much? We have a lot more to do. Because that would be interesting to me.
And the second team right now with the ladder before this game started was Melbourne, Perth, and Tasmania. And the reason I say Perth is because you can see that Perth have been playing a lot of games, a lot of more important games before everybody else. They went over to play in Las Vegas, and those games obviously mattered for numerous reasons, but you can see they're still a piece short, but they seem just a marginal step ahead of everybody else at this point already, because they've got a couple of lineup things figured out. They've played some 48-minute games, so their wins there as well against the G League Ignite, and that does matter. That does help get you off on a good start.
I agree.
So the Wildcats 10.5 points coming into tonight, and Tasmania 10 points. So both 2 and zip, as well as Melbourne. What do we make Melbourne at 5 out of tonight so far, so they'll get up to 16 points. So the Wildcats need to win and win at least 3 quarters tomorrow to overtake them. And Tassie would need to do the same just to get to level pegging.
So how does those work? What are the points that y'all, because I mind me,
so
we don't win much in the preseason, so we don't go through this much.
You get a point for every quarter won, and then you get 3 points for winning the game. So if you tie it, you split the points.
Maximum of 7, and I guess a minimum of 4 if you win a game.
And a lot of people will say that, okay, but at the end, like last night, Perth, Bryce Cotton didn't play the last quarter and all that, so then Adelaide come in and win that corner and stuff like that, but it's all the beauty of the Blitz.
Yes,
that's the whole point of it.
That's what everything is always give and take. That's okay, but that makes sense. That's a cool way of scoring it.
So
I wouldn't mind seeing the Blitz in the future. I wouldn't mind an Elam ending in the Blitz.
Yes.
I don't think some people talk about it being around for the actual game of basketball. I think we need to leave that
for
as
entertainment,
I
just
don't
for
mind
the fans.
That
would be amazing.
And probably for coaches, from a situational perspective too, to guarantee a close finish so you can work on different stuff, have different lineups,
different strategies, different pick your brain a little different, challenge you to be different as a coach. I think that's an amazing idea. NBL, you have a lot of jobs.
Try, man.
The commissioner.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Try, bro.
Pete Hooley and Tajir McCall with you. Alongside myself, Joel Peterson. Great to have you with us on KO Freebies. Melbourne United by 14.
That's going to be an offensive foul,
Yes,
Kyle
sir.
Bowen.
Bowen and
I think it's going to be a push first on
Rentoy
Malawatch.
getting tangled up.
See, that's why I said reffing is a great hard job, because I didn't even see that.
I didn't see the first one.
I know,
You're
that's
right.
what I'm
Jackie
saying.
Dover saw the other one, and they
Great
had a quick
job.
conversation. And another thing I want to see, Taj, is the All-Star game back in the NBL. And I think everybody's been saying this, but having locals, not the like East versus West or a mix, but local Aussie or New Zealand talent versus imports. Would you? How much? Because everyone says All-Star games, no one really cares about it. But say if you were lining up against all the fellow Americans, against our local Aussie talent, you would care about that.
I'm telling you, I've been asking why. I feel like you have to give a little break in the season, but to also reward the people that's on those, that's making those plays and that's playing at a high level, and give the fans something to see where they can see everyone in a one setting, the best players out of the whole league in one setting. You don't get that opportunity to enjoy that. And I just think it'll be fun for the league and the highlights, and you could do a three-point contest, a dunk contest. You know what I mean? And have
You
that
danced
all
around
in
my
this-
question here.
Well, okay.
Would there be pride on the line, Americans versus locals, Australians?
Not really. Not for me. I mean,
Well,
I say that now.
Because he wants to be Aussie. That's why.
I say that now, but in the game, it probably would kick in. But I don't.
Oh, Porty upstairs again.
Yes. To answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them beating us. I feel like they would.
And I think that's the same. I don't think we're going to have, because everyone worries, like, hey, we look at the NBA All-Star game and that looks dead to the water right now. It's hard to watch until the last quarter. But I think there's a space for that. I'd love to see the three-point contest.
But I also don't think the All-Star game would be like the NBA All-Star game, because I think we would take it like serious. You know what I mean? If you're playing, like you said, if you're playing for your country or whatever the case may be, I think it'll be taken a little bit more serious in the first 3 quarters. I know for me personally, it would be.
Still got it.
If I'm in it, if I'm lucky to be in it.
Still got an All-Star game jersey from when it was back in Adelaide. Actually, Reece Carter sitting on the bench for Melbourne United. It's with Porty. Great footwork there. He was in the dunk contest in an All-Star game, Reece Carter.
That's good. But where did Luke catch that ball at? In the middle of the paint. Way more effective.
Golden again from outside, a 4th triple on the night for him.
He's taking strides every single game. Still think it'll take a couple in the regular season, but this is really, really promising for Jonah Bolden, and he's going to leave the Blitz at this rate.
Confident.
Super impressed with where he's at.
Push for that All-Star game, though. Push for that All-Star game.
Trying,
you have my vote on the permission.
I've got you. You're on my petition.
Yes.
18-point lead for Melbourne. They led by 18 at 3-quarter time, so they have tied this quarter up. We've got 17 seconds remaining.
Do you think Dean knows what's the numbers are?
It's hard to know. Not the 4th quarter.
Uh-huh.
I think Melbourne would know that there's
Certainly that they're in with a show. His Glover's a little bit sore after he takes some heavy contact, and there's some concern for both he and Tanner Krebs.
And obviously, everybody holds their breath. Angus Glover, he looks okay. Nice little hug there. Hopefully, it's a bit of a stinger. And
we know he's made of tough stuff.
Well, sure is. Ripped his rib cartilage off in Game 5.
Oh, wasn't that incredible?
Caused his other ab to spasm so badly.
What does
That's
that
why,
even mean?
which is why he was constantly hunched over until we had little spurts where he could go, and ended up. In my mind, he was the grand final MVP. The championship
I mean, with that
series.
story, I give it to him just for still playing.
He's battled so much adversity over time. I remember still seeing him at Bendigo in an under-18 national championships game playing for New South Wales, and watching him and just going, who is this kid? And then that was years ago, and he's blossomed ever since. Tui taken away by United here.
Damn, Kyle!
Kyle Bowen
right here too.
Wants to jump in on commentary. Cheers, Kyle.
Come on, Kyle, pull my hammy, man. Pull my hammy trying to get out of the way.
These are the dangers of sitting on the
I'm
commentary bench.
rethinking this job.
Damn.
I like it better on the stands.
He was beelining straight for me.
Glover goes with the lob.
Now, here's an interesting thing. So you talk about it. Right now, they're tied in the 4th quarter due to split these points. If someone in Melbourne United had the laptop up, I'd be saying you should be trying to score this. They're going to split the points.
So Melbourne United take their 3rd win of the NBL Blitz, and they put themselves in the box seat for the Loggins Bruton Trophy. 105-87 the final score. A 3-0 start to the season for United. And the Kings, well, they'll get a couple of really key players back as they head into their final game of the Blitz. Well, their first game of the regular season. They've got another game to come against Brisbane on Sunday for Melbourne. All eyes on that home opener against South East Melbourne Phoenix. Scotty Pippen in attendance. It is a sellout at John Cain Arena, and it is going to be a massive weekend of sport in Victoria's capital that weekend. 105-87, the final score. Travers had 21 for Melbourne. Golding had 20. Krebs was in double figures. Hook Porty with another great performance. A really encouraging performance from the big man with 19. Rob Lowe had 11 for the Kings. Alex Tui led them in scoring with 19. Jonah Bolden had 16, including 4 triples. Denzel Valentine with 11. As we see some of the highlights, but Ariel Hook Porty made such an impact on the game, Tajir, who was terrific, and it's great to see him back at his best.
Yes, I told you, I'm excited for him, and I'm happy to see him out there. It's always sad when a player goes down with an injury, but to see him fight through and rehab, and he looks like he's going to be back to himself pretty soon. Hopefully well after we play them, but hopefully he does well. It's good to see him back out there.
Take a lot away from this too if you're Sydney. They had a really poor third quarter, but Alex Tui is shining light. Jalen Adams coming off a sickness, and we don't expect too much. But that man right there, Jonah Bolden, the more game time he gets in, the more reps is only going to be beneficial to the Kings moving forward.
Probably answered the question, hasn't it? Where's he at? Well, he's been pretty fine fettle.
And to be honest, if you ask maybe like a Luke Longley, Bogut, or even Mark Wood, where did you expect him to be at? I don't think anyone expected probably to have that touch just yet. The game's one thing. If you're shooting in the lights out in practice, it doesn't mean anything until you do it here. So I think it's really positive.
And you know, it's not going to be that every week. He's going to take his time. It'll be up and down as he finds his feet. But just to have that confidence that he knows that he's got that in him.
That's it. He looks very confident out there. That's very impressive for a young kid.
That's great to see. Tajir, when are you back?
Hopefully in a couple of weeks, but it's looking good. I'm just rehabbing, you know what I mean, and cheering my team on and being there for them. So it'll be day to day, but I'll be back soon.
If we don't see you before you become a father, good luck with everything, man. And we can't wait to see you after the fact, but obviously we can't wait to see you back on the floor. And thanks for doing this tonight, man. It's been fun.
Thank you for the advice, and thank you for allowing me to do this. I've learned a lot, and now I added another thing to my resume and my growth. So thank y'all for the opportunity, and y'all made it easy, man, and y'all made me better. I appreciate y'all.
It's been great to have you with us, Tajir, and hear your insights on everything. That's it for us on day 5 of the NBL Blitz. Thanks to Pete Hooley, thanks to all our crew here, Felix von Hoff, Derek Rucker, Kelsey Brown earlier in the day, Jack Heverin as well behind the scenes, and all the crew putting things together here. Another big day coming your way tomorrow. Tassie and Adelaide kicks things off. Perth and New Zealand on day 6 from the Gold Coast. Melbourne United close things out. 15-point winners over the Sydney Kings. The final score here. Back with you tomorrow for more NBL Blitz. Cheers.